hop on, see if anyone's gonna hang out for a minute or two. No, I'll just fuck around, research, do shit like that. See how today goes. Yeah, I should check out the women's. Where's the Gophers? Right here. Crush them. How do we win this game? Heard was a last second shot. Heard was a last second shot. %, jeez. Up 5 with 3 minutes left. That for sure. Yeah, you tell him. You tell him,
I told him.
Mrs.
I fucking told him. Ow.
Well, that wasn't me this time. Regional 2 in Sacramento, but we're playing at the U of M. So weird how women do that. Basketball. Lefty. Psh. 1 for 7 to end the game. 1 for 8 is going to miss. Oh, she did tie it. Oh, 2 for 8 then. Let's go, let's go. Step back. It was a pretty nice fucking shot. Descend into the Sweet 16. Step back. If it wasn't in the game, they're going to call that a foul, but... Ooh, short. But they're going on. They're going to play UCLA? Damn. UCLA's stomping everybody. The NBA. Did, the Rockets end up losing? Thunder won. So, let's see here. They're back to 5. Don't like this. I mean, I don't know. Wemby's fucking tough too, though. Fuck, man. These two teams are awesome. Man, if I had to pick, I suppose I still would rather play the Spurs because they're young. Wemby's so fucking good. But, I mean, we got Gobert, we got Nas, we got Julius, we got Baron J if we need to. We got size. Look at this team. 1, 2. Oh my god. So 3 games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. 23 and 3. Damn, that's wild. 23. So they're at 31 and 15. Oh, man. OKC only lost 14 games last year, I think, the whole year. Yeah. Last year, everybody was at 51. Same as it's going to be this year. They're at 1 game less. They're at 71. We're at 72. 72, 72, 72, 72. All right. Just Houston's behind. So 10 games left. 6 and 4. 6 and 4. Let's see here. Shit, wrong button. What do the Nugs play? The Nuggets. One tough game. Easy, 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 easy. Tough, tough, easy, tough, tough. Ooh, so they got one, two. So they might go 6-4. So they'll probably end up with 50 wins at least. What about the Lakers? Pacers. I see that. That's a free win. Easy, easy, easy. Tough, tough. Easy. So they got one, two, three, four, five, six. Six for sure wins. So they're probably gonna get. If they get 6 wins. That means we cannot catch to the 3 seed. But yeah, because I'll put them at 52. I don't think we can win 8 out of 10. I mean, technically we can, but so we got tough, tough, 3, 4, maybe 5 tough. So 5-5. That's at worst. Probably go 6-4. 50 wins. Probably get around that 50 win mark. But kind of just want to stay the 6 seed. Honestly, it's probably best to be there. Let's put some over here. Let me get my shit set up. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Domination.
Hello,
What's
I'm doing.
happening?
Hello,
How's it going?
I'm alright. Playing the same game I was last time by coincidence. How's it going?
The heart game, whatever. Hearts 4.
Yes, indeed. What about you? How's your day been?
Oh, fucking been all right. Today was my Friday, so about to be dealing with my weekend, which is cool. Weather out here is getting
Nice.
nice. It's about to be 60s. I guess. What has it been cold out in Canada?
Not last few days. It's been pretty nice. We basically had our final cold snap, and then which always happens around about early March, and then mid March, late March gave way, and we finally get some heat at long last,
I know,
which
right? I
it's,
mean, I feel like we're basically the same way. We might get like one more like snowstorm maybe, and then but it'll be like 60 the next day, so it'll be gone. So
Yeah, gratefully, unlike the inland of like in the prairies, we don't really get that thing where one day it's summer weather, the next day it's snowing. That's definitely much more of an Alberta, Saskatchewan problem.
yeah,
Our weather tends to BC is sort of like that. It sort of gets colder in stages and warmer in stages. So springtime sort of jumps in these like 6 or 7 degree intervals, and then it'll just not the temperature just won't move for about 5 weeks, and then randomly it'll jump up again, and then it does the same thing in but as it cools off, it'll hold and hold and hold, and sometimes it'll hold a really long time, and then it gets really cold all at once. At least that's how it works for us.
yeah, yeah. BC, that's West Coast, right?
Well, I'm not on the coast, but it is the West Coast
Oh,
province,
really?
yes.
Yeah, I got you.
If you were to best compare the climate, if you've been to Washington, Spokane, then that's basically where I live in terms of climate. If a
Yeah,
bit, but like 5 miles north of it.
yeah. I mean, I guess I don't mind that kind of weather. Just it's just like anything. When it gets too much, like cold is fine, but like when it's been cold so long, or like if it's rainy, it's fine. But like if it's rainy for like 2 weeks in a row, it's like okay, I'm sick of this weather. Can we just have a nice day, please?
Yeah, I find for me it's the darkness. I just get very miserable. I don't know how people like, up in the Nordic countries or whatever like live with like 5 weeks of darkness. I would. That sounds to me more like a biblical plague than a place to live, and I hate it because I can handle the cold if it's sunny out, but the minute it's just dark, it's just depressing and miserable. It's just yeah.
It is too. Like I remember when I was working nights when I worked bartending. Like in the wintertime, I'd go to bed. It'd be like 5, 6 in the morning. It's dark, and when I wake up at like 4, 5, it's dark. It's like Jesus Christ, I never see day. Like for two and a
No,
half, three
yeah,
weeks.
no, that was me going. That was me when I was going like early classes. I'll leave the house at like 7 o'clock and it's still dark out. And then when I was driving home from my last class at like 5 in the afternoon, it was still bloody dark
I
out.
know it's
It's
so
absolutely
shitty.
ridiculous.
It is a dismal,
I
man.
hate it.
I do too. Uh, yeah, the thing about
But
like
grateful.
if you go to fucking like Alaska and shit, if you live there, they got like what 2 weeks of 24-hour light and 2 weeks of 24-hour darkness. Like that's got to be crazy
I think
to
it's like
witness.
60 days. I thought it was like 2 months. Sort of
Is it
thing.
that long?
I don't know. I thought it was longer than like 2 weeks. I thought it was more like 6 or 7 weeks.
Uh,
I imagine it also depends how far north you are. To be
yeah,
fair.
true. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of variables. I bet like North Pole. Yeah, it says over 2 months they can't experience
Yeah.
anywhere that's specifically north of the Arctic Circle. It says.
I mean, and then you look at the suicide rates, and it's like, yeah, that sounds about right.
Oh, yeah, that's like in America the Seattle problem. A lot of suicides in Seattle. It's like, well, it's rainy and grungy every day. I guess every day looks like shit. You're like, ah, fuck it. I might as well just be gone anyways.
I mean, I think Alaska outstrips every U.S. state by something like double. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Does it high suicide rate?
I mean, I know it has a very high suicide rate,
Yeah,
although I would surprise me, and like an abnormally high compared to second place. But let me know if my game's audio is too loud. By the way, I
oh
just
no,
have the
dude.
sound up so I
No,
can
you're
hear
good.
a naval invasion.
I don't even really hear it honestly.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
Any
Alaska is number one. It says 27 out of 100,000 people commit
that is
suicide.
very, very.
Yeah. Montana is
And then what's
second
second
at
place?
26 out of a 26 out of
Seriously?
100,000, and then Wyoming is third at 25.
That's actually surprising. I thought it was a much bigger gap. Huh, huh,
Oh
never
no,
mind.
it's
Guess I'm
not.
wrong. Why Montana and Wyoming? Maybe it's just the fact they have very small populations, so it just seems it sort
That
of amplifies it.
that probably. I mean, it's probably the same thing with Alaska. It's only got like 550,000 people, so if there's like what 500 suicides, boom.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah,
And the fact that
because if you
like
look
so
at
many
all these
people are
states
just
are
like,
small. So the first big state is Colorado at 6,
yeah, that sounds all right.
and
That's
then
like a much more reasonable number.
yeah, well, like I said, here it's 20 for every 100,000 in Colorado, and that's a bigger city or a state. So if you want to compare,
I thought you said it
well,
was six.
it is 6, but I'm saying it's 20 out of 100,000 people
Oh,
commit suicide.
oh, six. I thought you meant 6 out of 100,000.
No,
Sorry,
no,
I
no, I got
misunderstood
you.
that.
No, yeah, no, 20 out of 100,000, it's sixth place.
Interesting.
Hmm.
No, that's basically South Korea level.
Right.
But I
You guys,
imagine the lower states are
does
probably a lot
Canada
better.
have like suicide? You guys have like health problems in general, like compared to us?
Do we have health problems like
Mental health problems. I mean, like,
oh, mental health
yeah, I
problems?
mean, like, do you guys have like do you guys have suicide problems there and shit like that?
Nothing. So just look this up. Hang on a
Because like
second.
I know, like I
Like
feel like in
my,
America we have a problem with this, and I think it stems from the mental health problem. But it's like,
let's see. Um, can you give me the per 100,000 rate, please? Let's see. So I'm trying to find the statistic.
no, I get it.
Nothing in particular. Uh, quite a lot lower. It seems to be around, on average, I'd give about 12 per 100,000, which is quite a fair bit lower.
Yeah, that's not. That's
I'm
that's
trying my best to.
yeah. I'm gonna say that's probably like our 30th state, 35th state kind of
I'm
thing.
trying, yeah, I'm trying my best to average it out because I'm looking at a chart here that's broken up by age group. So I'm trying my best to just mentally average that. But looks my estimation, it would be about 13, 12 kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm actually surprised the suicide rates go down as you get younger, which isn't what you normally see in most countries.
That is weird. Well, again, I think it stems that like maybe you just have like I said, better mental health system where like now kids can deal with it. You know, like they're much more open to talking about how they think and feel and all this shit. So I think all that kind of shit's starting to blend with it to make it maybe the younger kids are.
It very well could be. Uh, it's absolutely buoyed by the indigenous population. Is the mass? I'm just looking. Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
indigenous population, vast bulk of the suicides, which is not shocking to me whatsoever. Oh hey, oh it only goes up to 2017. Okay, 2017 numbers is the most recent we got, so that's what you're getting. It is 11.3,
Yeah, that's like I said, relatively that's nothing. That's like a half a percent.
which that's about a decade old now. I would like to see the post-COVID numbers. That's the main problem I have
Yeah,
with that.
that's true. Yeah, post
Um,
COVID, that at least like I said, at least here, besides suicide rate, it was like domestic abuse cases went up. There was a bunch of fucking problems with COVID with like people.
not, not even slight shock. So, I mean, some of these were completely predictable. Like, if someone said, "Oh yeah, everyone's gonna get way more depressed if they can't leave the house," it's like, yeah, sounds about right to me. But
True.
it spiked quite massively, or
Yep.
like sounds quite predictable. I'm just
Well, yeah. I mean,
surprised that.
no, like I always tell people, it's like anything. Like COVID was cool for like 2, maybe 3 weeks of like not working and shit, but after that, it's like I'm bored. Like I gotta do something. Like I gotta get something done productive or go hang out with my friends or anything. Like I think that was the part
That's
that
why
fucking
I
drove
started.
people mad.
That's why I started writing like game reviews and basically like learned some basic like computer programming because I just had to do fucking anything to
I
not go completely insane.
I basically got out of being like a conspiracy mindset and got more into like science. I just started like looking into all because it was COVID. And I got sick of people tell me all their stupid talking points like this. It's like what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna read about all this shit and just learn it my fucking self. Like I'm sick of people telling me they know the answer when I don't know if they know the answer. Like so that's kind of when I like
Yeah,
rewriting my whole like worldview.
I remember gratefully I what is it? I discovered like the flat earthers when I was something like 11, and I thought they were so stupid that it put me off any conspiracy theories for most of my teenage years, which I'd say is when you're most vulnerable to that sort of thing, or at least
Sure.
like
Yeah, you have
starting
to.
to fall down that probably. I'd say
Mm-hmm.
more so than an adult when you have some degree of life experience.
Sure.
And yeah, I found the flat earthers, which is probably like the best thing to ever happen to me. So I just never touched any conspiracies, gratefully.
Right.
But yeah, when I was in COVID, I just had to do fucking anything.
Yep. I picked up. I started doing puzzles. Like I haven't done puzzles since I was like a kid, but I'm like, you know what? I can make posters, but instead of making posters, I'll make a fucking puzzle and I'll just glue it together, and fucking make my own posters. So I started doing that
I
for
did
a
that
minute.
with I did Lego. That was my fiddly craft. Is I just did I just bought a bunch of Lego and put it all up on my thing.
I'm just like, man, I have to do something, just anything to get me fucking out of here. And then
Uh,
like I got so good, like when I did my first puzzle, like it was like 1,000 piece puzzle. It probably like hours wise, it probably took me like 45, 50 hours to do. But by like the end of COVID, I could do 1,000 piece puzzle in probably like 20 hours because your eye gets learns how to adjust to like what you're looking for and shit like that. It's like it's much easier when you do it. Actually, it's like anything else, I suppose.
I learned how to solve a Rubik's cube, which and then I got bigger and bigger Rubik's cubes until one of my cousins bought me. I think it was a 6 by 6 by 6 Rubik's cube, and I have not yet been able to solve it. I've solved one side. I have not been able to figure out the whole thing. I was not prepared for how much more difficult it gets when suddenly you've got like
More variables.
12 blocks.
Yeah. What's it called? There's like
I'll get that down.
there's like a way of doing it where you can always solve it no matter where it's at, right?
Yeah, but I refuse to Google that because I like figuring things
No, I
out.
get
Also,
that.
why would I just want to cheat
No, I
code
get
to a
that. I'm
Ruby?
just
That's
saying
boring.
it is true, but I'm just saying like I just wanted you to know. I need to know if you knew because some people don't know. Like, no, there's actually like a formula. If you do this 27 steps, I don't know what step you'll get on, but eventually you'll figure it out. I would.
I heard that, but yeah, I just I'm also, maybe it's just me and the fact that I was brought up with video games and also brought up with friends who would make fun of you for sucking at video games.
Uh huh.
I have a weird aversion to googling shit. I feel like I've been defeated, and I just have this mental block
Do you,
that prevents me from
do you
ever looking up how to
will you
solve
use
things.
a will you use a like a guide like if you're playing like Final Fantasy or something like that?
I will feel I will feel like I've been defeated, and I will just never be able to bring myself to do it.
Because like there's certain games like that, like unless you're just playing the game just to beat the game, you could probably just without cheating or whatever you want to call it. But like if you want to do like any like the cool side quests and shit and all the extra shit, then you probably need a guide with certain games. Because I tried, so like
Yeah, if it's like a giant map. Oh, sorry, go.
no, yeah, I agree with you. The giant map. That's what I'm saying. Like certain games, like I said, the main story I could do without cheating or using a guide. That's fine. But like I said, once you add like if you go to this little niche area, you can get like the best weapon or whatever the fuck's like, oh, that's kind of cool. Or do this little mini game kind of thing and you get this kind of thing. Like that's like shit like that. I don't mind learning about, but like the story mode shit, no, you can probably like most of those games, you can probably beat them like in 30, 40 hours if you're just trying to just grind the game without doing any
Oh,
side
absolutely.
content.
Oh, absolutely. I remember Horizon Zero Dawn, which is actually one of my favorite games. I did end up, like, I needed a bunch of batteries in order to unlock a door behind which I was told was a special suit of armor that I needed.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't find like the 12th out of, I had like 11 out of the 12 batteries that were hidden somewhere along this massive map. I couldn't find the 12th, and I just Googled that. I was willing to throw in the towel there. And it was in a place I was never going to look, frankly.
Yeah.
But like that, I'm kind of willing to do if I'm absolutely stuck, or if I can't proceed and I would like to see how the game continues.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, it's like, nah, I just can't. Maybe you had kinder friends than me, but my friends would shit on me so hard for not figuring that shit out. So nah, I can't do that.
So luckily, I get what you're saying because like I'm old enough where we didn't have fucking really internet when we grew up. So like we used to just play on the Super Nintendo. Like we play like a Link to the Past, and I just remember we'd all sit around and watch a dude like unlock something, and we'd all just like, oh my god! So then we'd all go home and be like, all right, this is how you get past this level or this part now because we all fucking dude found out for us, kind of thing.
Yeah, I always had what is it? We always played split screen and such. And naturally, if you're playing split screen with your friends, they're all just verbally abusing you
For sure.
as you lose. So
Oh
if
yeah.
you begin to lose, so naturally, that's the relationship I take with these sorts of things.
I get that. I mean, I had older brothers too, so I mean, if we used to play on like the Super Nintendo and shit, and yeah, if we played Mario Kart, it was all shit talking or anything with those games. Or you play like a basketball
Yeah,
game
playing
or a
Call of
football
Duty,
game or a baseball game.
Call of Duty for me with my friends, like split screen. That was always the thing because
Yeah.
whoever lost had to pass the controller on, and
Yep.
so you'd always get that. It
And
was fun.
it's always
I enjoyed those
it was
days.
always funny too because you knew there was always somebody accusing somebody of cheating. Like, dude, you're looking at my screen. That's how you know where I'm at. Well, that shit always
And
happened.
to be fair, we were all like at least halfway decent friends, so like we weren't completely unpleasant. It wasn't like the internet where it's just the most
Vile.
noxious people you've ever encountered. But
Yeah,
it, it was fun though. I remember those days. Those were fun.
they were fun.
When you're like 14, 15, and just sort of goofing off. That was great.
Oh yeah, dude. And like I said, half the fun was trying to fucking discover things with your friends too. Like I said, like if you found like a special armor or something in a game, you can be like, bro, you know what I found yesterday? You can tell them, and then fucking, it makes sense. Everyone's like,
Oh
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
you just share it down the line.
Yeah, that was true. To be fair, at that point, we usually would have probably Googled it, but not always. Sometimes you'd share it with people or share little exploits. But like, we weren't really watching someone play a single player game because we had multiplayer games available. So it's like, why not just play those?
Yeah,
But on occasion, it was. I'm trying to think of like, yeah, plot-based games. Normally, it would just be like, nah, just play them on your own kind of thing. But I remember,
yeah. Me and my buddy, we
but no,
fucking we played what was it called? It was like a Nazi zombie thing, but I think it was in Modern Warfare 2, but it wasn't like zombies. It was just like waves of fucking enemies, and me and my homie would fucking play together. and try to go through like 25 waves. I think that was like the highest we ever got to, 20 or 25. But that was our jam. We just play that over and over and over if we were by ourselves and didn't want to play online or anything like that.
Fair enough. Yeah, I don't ever actually. I always kind of hated zombie modes. I thought they were a bit lame personally. But I think the main thing we all got into what was it? Dark Souls, and also all of its spin-offs, like
Oh
your
yeah,
Bloodborne and
yeah,
Demon Souls,
Elder Scroll,
and
yeah, all that shit. Yeah.
what's the other one? Come on, brain. No, it's not Bloodborne. I'm trying to remember the name of the one. It's like
Red Dead.
Dark Souls but ranged. No, like Dark Souls but ranged, and I'm trying to remember the name of this bloody thing.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's not coming to me. But yeah, that was our big thing. That was like a big thing when we were all gaming. If it was single player, we did play Red Dead Redemption actually, and what else would it have been? Yeah, I remember Red Dead. It was really funny because everyone had the exact same experience of thinking, "Man, I'm finally finished." 8 hours of gameplay after the epilogue. It's like, man, epilogue changed its definition
Right.
from little snacky bit at the end to entire second game. It takes like 8 to 10 hours to finish.
Oh, I know, man. I mean, that's kind of how I felt with like what's it called? Elden Ring. Like this game is so fucking huge and fucking so much to do. It's crazy. Like that's a game like I feel like I kind of have to cheat on, like because there's so many things to do. I don't know what I'm supposed to do half the time. Like,
I haven't played Elden Ring yet. I tried downloading Cyberpunk instead. That was what I spent
Cyberpunk's fucking fun.
some
See,
time doing.
Cyberpunk's a great game for a bit like that because like I really didn't have to research anything. You know, you don't have to like Google much. You just play the game and fucking you do a lot of things just naturally.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've definitely experienced that being the case. Enjoy. I finally got like forked out for an expensive PC, so I said, "Screw it, let's just get the beefiest game we can manage," and it's been working pretty well. They've mostly hammered out the bugs, which is nice,
No, yeah,
and and it's finally like generally functional. The story mode seems to kind of make sense. I enjoy it. It's quite immersive. It's a lot more immersive than GTA, say, which I am not really that big of a fan of personally. And so yeah, it's been pretty enjoyable.
yeah. I'm not really a fan of Grand Theft. It wasn't my jam either.
No, it feels like it's like fittingly for the fact that it's set in California, and I know it's meant to be satirical in this way, so fair enough, it gets that job done decently. It
Mm-hmm.
feels written smart for the kind of person who watches like California daytime TV.
Oh, okay.
And by that I mean something like Keeping Up with the Kardashians and other equally empty stuff. You know,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like this
it
was never
feels
for
like
me either. Like I said, I never got it. I seen people play it, and they try to get me to play it a lot. And I'm just like, nah, this is not my jam. Like, again, if I wanted to play a game like that, I would go play Cyberpunk or go. You know, there's other games like that that I feel like are better to play.
yeah. I got back into Cuphead, which was loads of fun. I forgot how much I enjoyed that game. I don't know if you've played it. It's my personal favorite, like
Cuphead.
hard game. Yeah.
I've heard of it. I never played it, but it's what is it on? Is it on PC?
I think it's on everything. I know I've played it on a friend's Switch at one point, so
Okay.
presumably it's on everything. But
Okay. Yeah, because
it's
I've heard of it
it's
on
a
the
good.
Switch. But yeah, it's on everything.
Apparently, it got a TV show, which I refuse to watch because video game TV shows are never any good. But
Yeah.
it's one of the most difficult games you'll ever play. But it's difficult in a way that it's designed to be. It doesn't just crank up the enemy health, and I enjoy the shit out of that.
Is it like
It forces you to
is it
like
like a
memorize
Mario
patterns.
game? Is it like a side scroller? 2D side scrollers?
Um, if you made it's I don't want to say side scroller because the game kind of some of the some of the matches don't move and some of them do, and so it's kind of
Okay.
hard to really say. It's also not really a side scroller in the sense that you don't decide how fast you move. The game is going to push you forward at some points, at risk of you dying if you don't move it when it tells you.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very fun. I enjoy the fact that it's one of the few games that seems to be designed to be hard without just
For the
having
sake,
enemies with mountains of health.
I would say for the
It's
sake of
just
being
really
hard.
complicated patterns.
Yeah.
What was that?
I would say not just to be hard, just for the sake of like that's kind of like a lot of people talk about Dark Soul games. Like some of these are just hard, just because their mottos they're hard. So I think they just overly do it every game. Like, all right, how much harder can we make it for this player, and how can we harder make it for this player, and they just keep trying to top themselves.
Yeah, I mean, I actually don't agree. I think Dark Souls does exactly the same thing because a lot of it is figuring out patterns, which
Yes.
is good, difficult in my mind, although rather than just beefing up the enemies.
Yeah.
And I enjoy it for the same reason because it's just figuring out the patterns, which you eventually will get because there's always a pattern. But figuring it out is very, very difficult when there's 1,000 things moving on screen at any one time. You have 3 lives and you will never be able to get any more, or rather, like per level.
Yeah. What's it called? You play the Breath of the Wild and all that. Tears of the Kingdom, either one.
Uh, I've played a bit of Breath of the Wild. I never. I don't have a Switch, so I wasn't.
Able to
What's it?
finish.
Yeah, I mostly just had to play it with a friend. But it's like it's a Zelda game. I can pretty much figure out what's gonna happen.
Yeah. I always quit like when I was telling my homies about that game. I was telling them like basically it's like Elden Scrolls, but just like or Elden Ring, but just like super easy compared to what Elden Ring is. Like the idea of like you just put in an open world and you just fucking go and do what you want to do and explore what you want to explore. Like that whole idea. I thought that was a cool idea, but it got like. But the only thing is, like you're saying though, like once you figure out the move patterns, like it's almost too simple. It's like, oh, I can just flurry rush every time because I know how you're gonna move, and
Yeah,
so like it gets.
yeah, pretty much.
So like I was just saying, like that's the only problem with sometimes not beefing up characters, but I get it because I don't want just like the XP or damage to be like 4 million to kill this person now. Like that's stupid too, but I just don't know. There's got to be a blend of the two. I feel like that will make it work better.
I mean, I find personally just having the game be more difficult by having it be more complicated is better. Like make the enemies faster before you give them more health. That's actually difficult.
True. Yeah,
Um,
that's cool. I like that idea.
things like that. Like things like that. Because if you give the enemies more health, all you're doing is making the game slower. Because all that's happening is I know how to beat these enemies,
Yeah.
and it's not any more difficult to beat them. So
No,
it's
instead of
like
being 2 minutes, it
I just
takes
have
six
to do the
minutes.
same shit again.
Yeah.
It's just quizzing me on if I remember how to do it,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is just kind of annoying,
That's kind of what I'm
personally.
getting at with Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Like I said, it's a super fun game. Like the first time you play it, but like once you play it, it's like, oh well, now I know how to kill everybody and do everything like all the moves. It's like it's kind of lost the lust of what the game could have been or should be like for replayability. Like those games, that's what sucks about it is replayability loses it.
Yeah, I mostly agree with that. I recommend Horizon Zero Dawn for people who want a decently replayable sandbox because the enemies are never easy. One of my favorite games, just for sheer time, sheer like fun. It's a nice, big, expansive post-apocalypse. It looks good, made in like 2017, and somehow still looks great.
I know,
And
right?
it's honestly I like it a lot. It's great. And I enjoy just pouring damage into enemies, figuring out how they're going to attack you, figuring out which elemental attacks work. That's my jam personally.
Fuck yeah.
And, yeah. Was anyone else going to show up on the call today?
I don't know, honestly. Nobody really answered, so I don't know. Today is Monday,
Fair enough.
so I don't know. Usually we hang out Tuesdays, but I had nothing else going on, so I was like, fuck it, maybe we'll see if people want to jump on, but maybe this is why I don't hop on Mondays.
Possibly. I have no idea. I didn't even know there was a schedule. I just sort of occasionally check in and
No, yeah,
see.
there's not really like it's not a set schedule, but like Tuesdays and or Sundays tend to be like the days we kind of do because just work related shit, I guess, kind of thing. Everyone's off or they get off at like 9:30 or so we all hang out. But
Makes sense.
like I said, it's not a for sure thing, but
Yeah, I wasn't even aware there was one. Fair enough though. I'll keep that in mind. I'm mostly just setting up some ridiculous fortifications up on the quarter of Beijing, trying to get the Japanese to burn themselves out,
I
which
know.
seems to be mostly working.
I
Hmm?
I've been thinking about downloading that game because I mean it seems like something I would like. It's just how long do games take? Days?
Um, no,
Okay, I don't know.
depends. You mean just by yourself, like a single player game?
No, I'm saying if you're gonna play a PvP match, like trying to take over the world, how long does that game usually last?
Oh, a PvP match. Oh, I have absolutely no idea. I don't play with other people on this bloody game. I refuse to.
Oh, okay.
I've heard on average though they tend to take about between like 4 and 7 hours kind of thing. So like set aside a Saturday, but nothing ridiculous.
Okay, that's the only thing I was
I
kind of
mean, just
worried about. Or so when you play, when you're just doing story mode shit. So like you can just pick it up and play whenever you want, right?
I guess not really story mode so much as just historic mode, single player kind of thing, letting the game's AI attempt as best as it can to pursue the actions of World War II as historically accurate as possible, basically.
Okay.
Um, and yeah, these games for me take me, I don't know, 3 4 hours.
Okay. Yeah, because like right now it's only like $15. I might buy it. I've been thinking about buying it because, like I said, I love Risk. I play Risk all the time and shit. So it's like it's kind of similar, just more autistic slash whatever. You guys got to pay attention. I mean, I like that shit. Like I like managing and
If you download it, I'll just explain how to play it right now.
huh.
If you get it, I'll just teach you how to play right now. To be fair, I'm perfectly okay to do that.
All right, hold on.
I do recommend you get the DLC with it for like a pretty cheap subscription, and because frankly, getting all the DLC is just how you actually enjoy the game. But
Okay.
uh, but yeah, I think the subscription's like yeah, I don't know, Canadian. It's like 10.99, so probably something like 7.99 for you.
Let me see here if I find it here. Subscription.
I do believe you have to have the game already, but I'm not
Oh,
actually
okay.
sure.
Does it all like I can download this as starter edition, which I'm guessing is just a basic game.
Are you on Steam? What are you on?
Yeah.
Let me see. Hang on. I haven't been on like the download screen for ages, obviously. So let me just see. Uh, I think maybe if you want to get it, it lets you do it. Oh no, here it is. Yeah, if you get the game, just click on the game in your library, and then just click on the DLC tab, which should be like second from the left. It'll be there, and I think there's the subscription option in there somewhere, which is what I do. And yeah, Canadian dollars, 10.99 a month. It gets you literally everything with no questions asked. I just recommend you get that.
Okay.
If you do get it, it's pretty good. I got it for on about that cheap, and it's probably about as cheap as it's gonna get. So
Yeah, like I said, it says it's the price till the 26th, so that's cool, man.
yeah, if you do get it like right now, I will just teach you how to play it. I'm happy to do that, but your decision.
Yeah. The thing is, I fucking lost my wallet, so I don't know if I can't find it. I can't remember. I'm trying to remember any of my card numbers, but that's too much. I never because I barely use my cards, so I don't fucking remember them. Plus,
Fair enough.
now I'm looking at their bank shit. It says like pay through PayPal. I mean, I have to transfer things to PayPal because I don't have Visa. I have Capital One. I don't think these are any of these.
That more limited in some way.
Well, it says we accept PayPal, Visa, Mastercard, American Express, and Discover. So I'm like, I don't think I have any of those.
That seriously. Also, what did you say? Capital One? Isn't that just powered by Visa?
Who is Capital? I don't think
What
so.
does it
Maybe
say
it is.
on it?
Maybe it
What
is. Oh, I don't have
what
my.
does it say on it?
I don't have my card because, like I said, I fucking lost. So it was my kid's birthday yesterday. Some hotel thing, whatever, and I had my wallet, all my shit in my pockets, and I went inside, or we went swimming, and then my girlfriend and her friend moved my shit, and then when I put my shit back on, I haven't seen it. So I'm hoping I'm gonna call tomorrow, and hopefully it's there. If not, I checked my credit cards to make sure nobody's been using it, so nobody's been using my card. So I guess I don't know if anybody has my wallet or not. Maybe the workers do. So it's been kind of annoying
Um,
for the last today.
Capital One operates on Mastercard, so that it counts as that.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah,
So,
I got it saved in my queue. So if hopefully I can get my new card. Well, I wonder if I can just use my. I'll probably just go on my app, Capital One app. Maybe it'll have all my numbers that I need.
probably should. Be
Or
astonished if it didn't.
I'm saying it probably. Now that I think about it, hold on. You said it was Mastercard. Okay.
Capital One is Mastercard.
Yep.
Yeah. If you just input the numbers, it'll tell you. It'll just automatically fill in what kind of card you're using. To be fair.
Mm-mm-mm. All right, hold on.
Level 8 for that does the business.
Three.
Yeah, say your card number out loud into the mic. That's
Nah,
safe.
I was doing the 31 is the expiration. That's the year it dies.
So
Don't
yeah,
worry.
tell me your card number.
Oh, I understand that. Don't worry. I'm typing everything on the other screen anyways for that reason alone. Ooh, 1,600 Steam points with the purchase. Oh,
What do Steam points even do? I've never found a use for them.
I don't know either.
Yeah. I will give fair warning. If you're a person with like limited tolerance for failure, I don't recommend this game just because you're gonna fuck up a lot. But it is enjoyable once you do figure it out. It's just not easy to figure out. Or more to the point, it's just complicated. And once you figured it out, it makes sense. So long as you can like read what's in front of your face.
Sure.
But it's not exactly simple.
No, but that's fine. Like I said, it's like a puzzle or whatever you want to call it.
Kind of, yeah. It is a lot more sandboxy than most, and then it gives you a lot more freedom to do a lot of things.
Why does it keep saying that? Hold on. I wonder if this is because
Hmm?
one thing says virtual card, and I think my virtual card number thing is gonna be it looks different than my other numbers, so I'm not sure because it says like the address doesn't match up. So I'm like, why wouldn't it match up?
Yeah, I have absolutely no idea. Maybe you mistyped it, but I have no idea. It's whatever happens, happens. And well, if you haven't got the thing, fair enough.
All right.
Or if you haven't got your card with you, then yeah, fair enough then.
Still, just confusing to me, but I get it. But either way, I'll be getting it eventually. Because like I said,
Did you like just lose all your credit cards or something?
huh?
Did you say you lost all your credit cards or
Well,
something?
yeah,
Or like you
I
lost
lost
your
my
wallet?
wallet.
All
Yeah,
of them?
yeah. Was my daughter's birthday party was at a like a swim pool thing, whatever, inside pool park kind of thing. And I went there. I had my hoodie and my sweatpants. I put everything in my sweatpants. Put it in the area that we were at. Went to go swim, and then when I got back, my girlfriend and her friend put all the shit in a bag, So then I took it out, and I took it out, and I didn't realize till I got home that like my wallet was gone. Like I felt my phone in there, and I felt my other things, but I didn't feel. When I got home, I noticed my wallet was gone. So I don't know what the fuck happened.
I presume they like they took it home with them in the bag. I assume.
Well, then we got home, we checked the
Oh no,
bag.
I mean the other friend you were with, I presume, has it with them.
Maybe. I mean, that would be cool. I mean, I think she sent her a text. So, like I said, if not, I'm gonna call the hotel thing tomorrow and see if maybe lost and found, somebody found. Like I don't even care if they take the cash. Just I don't want to get new ID and whatever all the other shit, cards and stuff.
I mean, I'd be more worried about like someone stealing my credit card kind of thing.
Well, in a way, but I can cancel. That's why I've been checking. Like today, there's like every like 4 or 5 hours, I check my fucking like even if it's not when I put my shit, I check my account to make sure it's nothing like okay. The current balance is what it was. Okay, nobody's spending money on my shit, so
You
that's why
haven't frozen it?
I haven't froze it yet because I'm hoping
Have
that
you froze your credit card?
I haven't yet
Mm.
because I'm kind of hoping like if somebody were to use it like once, I can catch it right away and then be like, oh, that's where the fraud is, or somebody has it and catch, you know.
And track it down that way, I guess.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's got. That's why I'm saying I've been checking every few hours just in case. Because like it'd be one thing like if they used it like at 8 in the morning and I didn't notice till like midnight. Well, it's gonna be hard to track anybody there. But like, oh, I see you used it like 10 minutes ago here. Boom. Because I did set up like a if anybody wants to if the card's gonna be used, it needs to go through like my phone to send me a text to be like, this is being purchased. Are you cool with it?
Yeah, fair enough then. That's decent enough security.
Well, like I said, at least so far I don't nobody's used it, so that's why I'm getting hope that maybe like the hotel people have it and or like you said it's in the other bag or whatever, like just misplaced kind of thing.
Yeah,
Because
that
I
makes sense.
because I think if you freeze your don't you have to like go get new cards and shit, or you can you can freeze without having to get like all new cards and shit, right? There has to be a way.
Mm. But yeah, that's the whole point. You freeze the card, it just means that nothing can be done with it, and then you go onto your banking app and unfreeze it.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know what bank you're with or how decent their online support is. My credit card just has a switch on my phone app that I can just turn off and on whenever I wish.
Hmm.
But then again, I've heard American banks don't even have like bank to bank transfers, so I wouldn't be surprised if that's not an option.
No, you don't. You have to go through a third party. That's what like Zelle is. There's an app or a thing called
Oh,
Zelle.
I really hope nobody hacks PayPal or anything and just completely fucks you over.
Oh, dude. I mean,
Like everyone in the US.
oh yeah, dude. That's the thing. PayPal, Zelle. There's a few apps are for that reason alone because we can't do bank to bank, which I don't know if it's a law or just something that we just are anti against or whatever the fuck. I have no clue.
Don't you guys not even like have tap in most of the states as well?
What was that?
Don't you guys not even have tap in like in most states as well?
Cap?
Tap. Don't you guys not have tap payments in like most stores?
Uh, uh, I wouldn't say most, but like like older stores that are very like old fashioned, they don't move up. But like most modern companies, they do have that now.
Don't like a bunch of Walmarts not have tap on the debit machines though?
I mean, I wouldn't say a bunch, but I know there are definitely some. Let me see here.
That's actually astonishing.
Roughly 4,600 locations do not have a tap to pay. That's more than I thought.
How many locations are in the US though? Because that 4,000 could be like half the Walmarts in the US, or like 2% of them.
I think there's like 10,000 for to guess.
Holy shit, that is a large ratio.
There's 5,300 plus.
Oh, that's like the majority. That's like 80% of the stores.
Oh yeah, okay, that is crazy.
Holy shit. Huh. I'd be pissed off if I couldn't pay by tap, and
It
that'd
says
drive me crazy.
Walmart exclusively uses its own QR code based Walmart Pay within their app.
I am not using a QR code at fucking Walmart, no matter what.
That's well because they're trying to take away basically their idea was they're trying to avoid third party payment fees, which sounds cool, I guess, but because at least I don't know about in America right now. At least in Minnesota, I guess just say, anytime you use your credit card, you get an extra 3.5% tax on top of your whatever you buy.
On top of every purchase?
No, this is exclusive. That's what this Walmart's trying to avoid. Like I said, that third party payment fees because the third. So like, if you pay like a credit card at my bar, like let's say the price is
Mm-hmm.
$20, well, us running the card through the system is going to charge another 3.5%. So it ends up being like 21.50 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, I knew that. That's how all credit cards work. To be fair, that's how they make the money.
sure,
But
but I'm saying I think
I don't
Walmart's trying to basically make their own money, like with this QR code. Like you just pay right through Walmart. Walmart's probably pocketing that 3%.
I was going to say that 3% is probably just going directly to Walmart in that
Yes.
case.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I would assume too.
I looked up like a slightly terrifying stat. I discovered that Walmart is the largest employer
Of America?
in something like 18 American states, which was
Yeah.
absolutely terrifying for me to read.
Yes. And guess what states they are?
Most of the South
Yes. Yeah.
and Midwest.
Yes, for
I knew
sure.
it was most of the South, but also like Illinois and Ohio and Indiana, which
Was it
shocked me
them
as
too?
well.
See, I wouldn't have
I
thought
believe
like
so.
I wouldn't have thought Illinois, but I could see like Indiana. But let me see here.
And, uh, and then I looked up the worst offender, I think, was Georgia, in which 1 in 3 of the entire state were in employed at Walmart, and that is an absolutely terrifying ratio that I don't really want to think about too hard.
Uh, most employed.
I might have gotten the state wrong, to be fair. That's like half remembered, but I remember there was one state where it was like 32%
No, I
is
bet.
employed. It
Let's
might have
see.
been like North Carolina or something. I wouldn't know the difference between
It
them.
is Indiana and Ohio and Illinois. Yeah, fuck man. I see. I didn't think I wouldn't have thought Illinois. That one surprised me.
Yeah, Illinois surprised me as well, especially since I would have thought Chicago's size would have given the city enough
Yep.
economic diversity,
That's kind
but
of
apparently not.
that was exactly kind of what I was thinking too. Texas, that kind of surprised me because you'd think like I don't know. I guess you'd think like oil, but I
I
guess
would
oil
have, I
companies
would have
don't
thought,
hire much.
I was gonna say, I would have thought some oil company would be the largest employer in
Yeah,
Texas.
that's what I was thinking too. But like, I guess I don't know. There's probably only like 5 employers, though, right? I mean, it's probably not as many oil companies out there. It's more of a monopoly.
I guess, but I mean, there's still a lot. I mean, I know in Colorado it's like the fucking airport that's like the biggest employer, which is ridiculous. I don't know why. Like, I
Where?
don't know what it is about Colorado's airport that makes it so enticing, but so I guess you can just be employed in one place. I guess I just yeah, Illinois and Texas were shocks. But
Mm-hmm.
which state was it that was like 32% employed at Walmart? Which state has to deal with that tragic
Hold
fate?
on. Which state has the most?
Actually, I'm not just Google this.
Texas has the highest number of 171,000 people in Texas work at Walmart. That's wild. 171,000.
Yeah.
And
Oh no, I was talking
I know per capita.
the percentage. Yeah, hang on a second, I'm pulling it up here. It was no number of employees. I want percentages. There was a thing that gave it to me. What was it?
Arkansas has the highest concentration of Walmart employees to per capita, with approximately 1.9 to 1.93 of Arkansas's residents work for that company alone.
All right, what's the population of Arkansas? 1 second.
I'm gonna guess 1.8 million. That's my guess.
So what did you say was the number of people working in
One
Walmart? What was it again?
1.9 to 1.93%.
There are 3.1 million people in Arkansas as of 2025.
Wow. Okay, double what I thought it
That
was.
is, that is a large percentage that I don't really want to think about.
Basically, in Arkansas,
That
four people out of every 100,000 people work at Walmart.
uh, that's too many. That's that company just has just villainous amounts of power at that point.
thing is, honestly, like they don't even really like wield power. They just have power. Like they're more sneaky about their shit than like being like open politically and trying to like throw their weight around kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I used to work at Walmart, to be fair. It was the job I had when I was 16. I just
Yeah.
stocked shelves on the weekend. It was fine when I was doing that. I was just like stoned as shit all the time, stocked shelves and fucked off. That was great. It
Yeah.
was like, what was it, 16.65 an hour or something? And then
I
whatever that was,
I
do
worked
that
there
every
in
weekend.
I worked there for a summer in between college one year, and I developed film when film was still being developed,
Hmm.
like in oh six, oh
What
seven,
decade would that have? What year would that have been then?
oh
Hang on a
six,
second.
7 maybe, oh 07.
Okay. Hang on, 1665.
But geez, yeah, dude,
I was
fucking
making when I was 16. I was making about $400 a paycheck, which I mean, when
sure.
you're 16, just
Yeah, it's
working on the
ball
weekends
money.
is halfway decent.
I'll say that's
Like
ball
every
money.
2 weeks,
Yeah,
every 2 weeks, right?
for sure, dude. Like I
So
said, I remember my first real job. I mean, I was cleaning, detailing cars for like $9 an hour, and I fucking every week was getting like $320, $350, and I was ecstatic. I'm making like twelve
I
hundred
mine was
dollars a
every two
month.
weeks. Mine was every 2 weeks, not every week. But yeah,
No, yeah, Walmart's every two
yeah,
weeks,
I was
but
pretty chill.
oh yeah, dude. You guys have a lot of
Is
WalMarts
it?
in Canada?
I mean, not a lot. They're just kind of there's like one per large city and large town,
Mm-hmm.
and like that's it really. But then sometimes the town won't have one, and sometimes it will. Like you can't go into any town and expect to find it. There's a very good chance that it just might not be there.
Sure.
In which case you'll just have to find something. But there's plenty, but not like. I get the impression in the US you can go to any American city and find a Walmart. You definitely can't do that here.
There's a lot of fucking WalMarts. I mean, in America, yeah. Basically, I live in like rural, not rural. I live in suburb area, and there's probably a Walmart in every other city.
Yeah,
So,
ours is just like there's like one in the city center of every decently sized town. And that's it. That's all you can expect.
what was it? So, what made me think about that is I watched this documentary about Target, and Target tried to go into
Mm.
Canada like maybe late '90s, early 2000s, somewhere in that range, right? But like,
No, it was in. I would no. I was around for that. I was in like would have been the early 2010s because I remember because I went to Target. I was like when I was a kid.
okay,
So it's
was it?
and if it was in the 90s, I wouldn't have been born. But
No, okay.
yeah, was the early 2000s. I remember that they were an absolute disaster because
You
they
know,
couldn't stock the shelves worth
you know
shit.
what happened? So when I was reading about it, watching this documentary, the money guy that for Target didn't realize he didn't realize that you guys had different money than us. So like he was trying to charge like what American prices were, even though like over there it'd be like dirt cheap because like the price difference in cash at the time, and they were just
I also
losing.
heard he didn't do any French translation whatsoever, which
Nope,
is like
yep,
30% of the entire country. It's
yep.
like, yes, let's make 1 in 3 of this entire country not shop here. That's a good business decision.
Yep. Yeah, that was part of it too. But yeah, just watching the debacle of what happened and how they fit, because that was like their first go at trying to be international, like Walmart and shit, and they fucking just flopped.
But the thing is, as well, I think another thing that I had to talk to Americans to sort of realize why they failed, and it's the sort of attitude around Target is that in the US, I get the impression that Walmart has a certain reputation and a certain bad reputation, and that people don't really want to shop there.
Mm-hmm.
So Target can kind of entice people in by just not being Walmart.
Yep.
Whereas here, Walmart's fine. It's not a particularly trashy place. It's just like a mid-market store. Like we don't really have anything to say about it. Most people don't have an opinion.
Yeah.
So they couldn't entice it in by just not being Walmart because we just don't hate the store that much. We just don't hate Walmart quite that much.
Mm-hmm.
So that big marketing point of theirs really, really flopped. And since, like, yeah, for us, Walmart is just a store. There's nothing really bad about it, or there's nothing good or bad. It's just kind of there,
Yeah.
which I heard was another problem, and is an interesting thing they should have considered.
Sure. What was it? Yeah, in the states here, Walmart's like the white trash like version of like shopping, and Target's like the mid high end. We'll call it like they're not really high end, but when you compare it to Target or to Walmart, it looks high end.
Yeah, and I think that was probably the issue is because here Walmart's just whatever. No one really doesn't have a bad reputation really. It's just kind of whatever.
Mm,
Surprised, like remarkably so. Actually, I was surprised to learn how bad of a reputation Walmart had in the U.S. because we don't really. It's just kind of a store here. It's just another one you might consider going to if you want to.
all right.
But like, yeah, that lack of the reputation problem, I think, hurt them quite a lot. And which, yeah, I have no idea if that's Walmart, what people think of Walmart, but from what I've heard, it is.
Well, like I said, I know that's what they think here. I can't speak for the Canadians, but here
Yeah,
that is the outlook of Walmart. Walmart's it's one of those I think also like I don't even know what's true per se, but the idea is Walmart's cheap, therefore it's like white trash or whatever you want to call it versus Target or what's another one I guess.
is Target more expensive? Is Target more expensive usually?
Yeah, probably by like well, it depends what you get, but like I would say like 1-2%. You know, like if something's like if there's like milk at Walmart for like 2.79 a gallon, at Target it's gonna be like 3.50, 3 and a quarter.
$2.79 a gallon. That is bloody cheap. Jesus,
Yeah, it can be.
that's quite impressive. Yeah. Remember my point about us? Like, yeah, if you complain about to us about milk prices, don't worry, we pay way too much money. Because I was thinking that's very cheap.
Right. Well, I mean, it's like anything
But
though. In general, like I bet there's. I mean, you guys have healthcare that's cheap than us. You know, so like you guys win a
yeah,
bunch too. You know, like you win
yeah, that's
some, you
true.
lose
I,
some in certain worlds.
yeah, but I mean, having cheaper consumer goods is nice at
It
least
definitely is.
because you have to think about it all the time.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. You go shop every day, like like bitching about like high prices like on housing. It sucks, but it's like you only buy a house maybe once, maybe twice in your life, kind of thing. So like, it doesn't affect you that much. But like you say, buying milk or buying whatever eggs and whatever the fuck, like that shit affects you every week. So you notice those prices all the
Everything.
time.
I fully agree. Yeah, that's basically the main draw, I guess, of what's like what am I thinking here? Consumer protect like increased consumer protections, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, we have a lovely Quebec dairy lobby that's been the biggest lobby in the entire country since basically the mid '60s. That ensures that all of Canada's milk is bought from one place, and they can basically set the price.
Really? Because of a monopoly on milk, basically.
Well, the province does. It's not really any company, but
Oh, the province. Okay.
and because generally it's a fair bit of pressure to only buy milk from one place. Well, guess who gets to decide the price you're paying, motherfucker?
Right.
So that's our main issue. I find there's that whole arrangement, but it is what it is. What can you do?
Right. I mean, technically, it's like anything. That's where you're supposed to like unionize slash unite and try to fucking get rid of lobbying, or at least the one monopoly on fucking who runs a good or service. That's so like where I live. We started to open up weed stores, but like the city that I work in, the city gets to run the weed stores. I'm always like, why the fucking that's a monopoly. Why can the city be the only motherfuckers that run this business in this city? That's horrible. That's a horrible
Presumably,
take.
because they got into the governor's office before anybody else could, or the mayor's office, I should say, before anybody else could.
I get because I mean I was reading about it here. I think in Minnesota there's going to be 14 or 15 cities owning their own weed shops.
Sounds about right.
I just hate
We
that
have
they're
our own.
like
We have our own
I don't
provincial
mind
weed.
them. I don't mind them owning a weed shop. I just hate that they're the only ones that can own the weed shop. That's my
Yeah,
problem.
that's a bit weird because we have provincial weed stores here, and they're usually much better than everyone else because you can generally rely on them to not fucking poison you.
Sure.
But they're not the only ones around, to be fair. But which is kind of the nice thing, I guess.
Well, that's where like I said, I get there's flaws and shit, but like I'm always a capitalistic. So like you need the competitiveness. You need the fucking and there needs to be some kind of fucking fight for the consumer to make the price go down. Like that's the idea. Like, and if you only have a monopoly, if the city's the only one that can run it, well, they're gonna set the price high because guess what? If you want weed in this fucking city or at least whatever, you got to pay for me because I set the price. I own it. Like I just hate that idea.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Yeah, it's very tedious. That's basically our basically our what's the word I'm looking for here? Basically, our interprovincial trade barriers in a nutshell.
I know, silly.
I have no idea if American states are permitted to raise trade barriers between them. I would be surprised if they are, but our provinces are, and
I
that
don't think you
means
can.
that what is it? That a lot of trade barriers exist between provinces when they really, really shouldn't.
I don't get that because you think you guys have a strong. Do you guys have a strong federal government?
Stronger than the U.S. federal government by design, to be fair, in the
Okay.
sense that the big constitutional difference is that if ever something's not specified constitutionally,
Mm-hmm.
uh, it goes to the federal government rather than the provincial governments,
Okay.
which gives them a fair bit, as opposed to the U.S. where it's the opposite.
Yep.
So on the one hand, yes. On the other hand, there is still plenty of places where the provinces have authority, and they often decide to do dumb things like this. And because it's one of those quibbly things that's not very easy to make interesting as a political issue, I mean, it's hard to get people up in arms about, interprovincial trade barriers. It tends to just stick around and never improve.
Man, I mean, I get what you're saying. It doesn't sound sexy, but like, really, it matters so much though because, like you're saying, like there's so much trade between each province that you'd think like if you like if you could save 2% on all trade, like that 2% would be probably like in a year, probably like 2 grand in your pocket saved, or something like like it does matter, even though nobody cares about
Yep,
it.
it does. It's a mixture of a mountain of other problems, mostly relating to what is it? Mostly relating to COVID, happening, which took up a lot of the attention for the last like 4 years. Through the 2010s as well, regarding trade, we had to deal with trying to renegotiate NAFTA
Mm-hmm.
in the first Trump administration.
Yep.
And then there's the fact that, for the most part, that I'm trying to remember the thought process here. For the most part, it's the powers that be see more benefit in just keeping the barriers up, because at the end of the day, you'll piss off a lot of people if you try to get rid of it. It will probably be for the greater good, but you'll be damaging your own political prospects in the short term. I suppose I'm trying to think of an equally boring American issue that I might know about that might compare, but I can't really think of one.
I mean,
And it's like,
just tax codes. Like everybody, no, except for when Trump did the big beautiful bill. But before, besides that, nobody really cared like about taxes. Like if you were to be like, again, like the idea, like I keep trying to tell people, like we should probably be raising like the highest percentage of taxes for the rich people. Like a billionaire is paying the same amount of taxes as like 156,000 person or 300,000 person. It's like these people aren't the same. Like we should probably add 2% for 10 million. Add 5% to 50 million. Add 8% to fucking a billion. Like, but nobody wants to have that conversation because it's not sexy. It's just boring. Like even though like when people are like, oh, how are you gonna pay for this? Like I can tell you how you can pay for it. You just do these things, but nobody ever wants to have that conversation.
and also because there's a mountain of lawyers behind every single element of the tax code that have been probably working on that for the last like 11 years.
No, you're not wrong.
And oh fuck, gotta go deal with Vietnam. Hang on a second. I'm gonna
You're
I
fine.
have to go and reinvade Vietnam to make sure the Japanese don't get it. So
Do you get to
one
pick? Do
second.
you pick where you start?
As in the country, yeah, you pick whichever country you want.
Okay.
Really funny if, like, in a World War II game, you just like got thrown in and said just like randomly, just figure it out, motherfucker. That'd be hilarious.
I mean,
But
that would be kind of cool. Like if there was like a mode for that, and like, oh, it's just a random mode. Like you got this part of the
well, there
world,
is well, to be fair, there is. It's just not
not as fun.
not chosen very commonly.
Hmm.
Just because, I mean, most people have a country they enjoy, mostly because each country kind of plays a certain way, and people have their preferences for how they like to play the game. I like playing as China because I like having the potential to grow really big. Uh, but you start the game with nothing really. You have like no industry and no stability and no anything really. But you have the potential to be the most powerful player in the game. I enjoyed that, like starting off small, getting big, but feeling like I've kind of earned it. And then being on the defensive, I prefer to being on the offensive. It's why I don't enjoy playing as Germany, because you have to basically be on the offensive all the
Yeah, because
time,
you're right in
which
the
I
middle
find
of everything.
personally just kind of exhausting.
Yeah, I mean, I would equate it to like risk. Like, it's probably best to be in Australia and start in the little corner and then slowly work your way, build your way out of the world.
Kind of, except this game's set in, the
Yeah,
1930s and 40s. So Australia had a population of like 6 million at that point. So nobody really thought about them.
right.
And, um, and like playing as Australia is actually quite boring. I've played as them; they're not very fun.
I
They're a
believe
very
it.
limited focus tree as well.
Hmm.
I am,
So
but
would
yeah, I'd say.
you take over
Sorry,
Japan right
go.
away? I was gonna say when you're China, what's your first goal to take over Japan?
No,
Because
your first goal is to not immediately get shredded by the Japanese.
okay,
You're not in a good state. But if you don't know anything about China's history in the early 20th century, it
yeah,
was basically just one disaster after another.
yep,
So yeah, no, your goal isn't beat the Japanese until about 1944, 45. Your goal is don't get
hmm.
don't get mulched, basically.
That's funny.
Hence why I always have to throw up like level 8 forts up on the northern border here to make sure I don't get
Walloped.
absolutely torn to pieces. Hmm?
I would say before you get walloped. How many AI computers are there? Or is every country its own person, or like AI? I guess we want to call it.
Technically, every country is, yeah. Most countries aren't that relevant, so you don't have to think about you don't have to think about a lot of them. But um, technically, every country is playable. Most of the countries don't have you know, focus trees, which the focus tree is basically what would I call it? The thing that you use to decide what you're going to do that game, if you're going to go with the historic path, or if you're going to go alternate history or whatever, it's basically what you're going to do this game.
Yeah.
And most of the really tiny countries don't have one, so it's like you can't really play them technically. Like they're there, and you technically can play them, but why the fuck would you? You basically just sat around doing nothing.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's interesting. I don't recommend, since I know probably what you're gonna do is play as the US for your first run because you're an American. I wouldn't blame you, but I don't recommend that just because the US is absolutely massive and has way too much going on.
Okay. I mean, honestly, I was thinking somewhere in Europe because it's World War II, so I was thinking maybe like Spain or Portugal or something like. Start from one of those corners and then building out into Europe.
Um, oh no, you're not. So for reference, the game does as standard mode. The game's AI basically tries to play out the events of World War II as they happened as best as it can.
Okay.
Um, So yeah, you're not just like trying to expand. It's not like the game's just kind of there. It is like the AI is going to generally do what it did in World War II. So, if you're China, you get invaded July 2nd of 1937. The what is it? German invasion of the Soviet Union will strike roughly in the fall of 41, things like that. So you can't just like invade everywhere and like slowly conquer. That's not really the point. The whole point is to kind of role play World War II, or you just turn historical mode off and see what happens.
You know.
Because something interesting is going to happen. Don't know what it'll be. No one does. It's always a bit weird,
right.
but something is going to happen.
I mean, I guess
And
now that I think about it, I probably would play the real timeline first, just to kind of experience that first. I think.
it's also the only way to get like a functional game. To be fair, it's I don't recommend you play a historic on your first run generally, just because it's pretty challenging.
Okay.
I mean, it does like you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what any of the countries are going to do. They just sort of
Do
you
things.
know go randomly. So you might think to yourself, yes, if I'm playing as this country, I don't have to worry about this border because I don't get invaded. You might be. I had a problem with that where basically I was I what is it? The Russian Empire had sort of come back. The monarchists had won the civil war and beaten the Soviet Union. So now
Right.
the Russian Empire is back. They had allied with the Western allies against Germany. And
Wow.
then what happened is I got absolutely fucked because the Russian Empire decided to reconquer Mongolia from me because I had taken Mongolia because Mongolia is under the sphere of the Soviet Union, but when the Soviet Union collapses, it's just stuck there alone. So I figured I'm going to take that. Then the Russians decided to strike at me, and suddenly I'm at war with the entirety of the Allies with no warning. So that was shit. I got absolutely annihilated inside of like 2 months. So yeah, sometimes things like that just happen, which is why I'd say yeah, just play historical mode for the first like 20 games until you know what you're doing.
Wow, it's fucking. But it's fun though. That's the idea is that you fucking when you if you were to turn off the historic shit is that you just don't know like any alliance and shit. And that's the other thing I like that idea. So like if you're China, you could you set up an alliance with like Japan right away and kind of like work with them to build your shit?
Uh, Well, if you turn off historical mode, I guess it's theoretically possible. If historical mode's on, you can't ally with China or with Japan. They're going
Oh
to
yeah,
invade you in 1937. They're going to invade you in 37. That's
yeah,
just hard coded into the game's
yep. The AI.
existence at that point. And also, historically, if you know anything about the way the Japanese behaved in China, they weren't going to treat them very well.
No, yeah, they're savage as fuck, man. I'm kind of surprised. So
Absolutely.
they have this new movie on Netflix called Nuremberg. So then I watched it. It was about
Mm.
the Hermann Goring trial, the Nuremberg trial in general. But like, they made a good point. Like, I can't believe we didn't do nothing to the Japanese after like they didn't have no tribunal for the atrocities they did and shit too. Like,
Yes, they did. It was the Tokyo trials.
did they? Tokyo trials.
Yeah, tons. The main controversy was just that all members of the royal family were exempt because they worried that removing the royal family would result in the country collapsing completely. But which was the main controversy. But there was Hideki Tojo was executed alongside most of the military high command. And to be fair, the lines between Japanese government and Japanese military by 1945 were pretty blurry. But um, the prime minister was killed. A lot of the previous prime ministers, including the one who had resigned before the start of the war, Fumimaro Konoye, he I believe, was executed as well. Although I might want to go double check that. But they did. It was just the controversy that all members associated with the royal family, which was a fair chunk of the military, were let off without punishment.
Hmm. Yeah, I guess I never heard about this.
Yeah, I think Douglas MacArthur's belief was that if the emperor goes, he will not be able to govern the country, which maybe would have been true, maybe wouldn't have been. Kind of hard to tell. But that was generally why the royal family got off scot free. I am going to go Google my Fumimaro Konoe point though because I'm kind of curious.
It says 28 high ranking Japanese military and political leaders were tried in the court, including prime ministers, cabinet members, and military commanders. They were charged on 55 separate accounts, including wages of war, aggression, various war crimes. This trial lasted twice as long as the Nuremberg trials.
Probably because there's a lot of stuff there. Yeah, he was. Even the prime minister of Japan before the war, he left office. Yeah, 18th of October 1941. He wasn't even there when Pearl Harbor happened. He left 2 months before,
Sure.
and he was executed. Actually, he was going to be executed, but he committed suicide with the cyanide pill before he was able to be. But he was.
Yeah, they said
He was.
they went back to 1931 Japanese invasion of Manchuria for the trial, so they went back to 31. So,
Ah, that would make sense.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, the main controversy was just that if you were associated with the royal family, you were going to get off scot free.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people hate shit like that, but sometimes you got to compromise in order to do the greater good. In the sense of like, if you thought this would jeopardize like the legitimacy or of like the country or whatever, I guess I could see why you wouldn't do it. But I hate the idea of letting like war criminals get off without punishing, or like without justice.
Yeah, on the one hand, also tend to take, for example, the Operation Paperclip attitude when when the U.S. brought in
Yep.
all the Nazi scientists. I sort of take the attitude of you're up against a man by the name of Joseph Stalin, who I would not describe as terribly restrained by morals. The question is, do you do this and get an advantage, or not do it and fall behind because he will?
That
So
or he
sometimes
might
you do have to.
kill you. That's the whole thing. Like these people, are like, hey, dude, if you don't work for us, we're gonna fucking kill you and your family. Like, you're gonna work for them. Like, now, like it'd be different. Like, I mean, obviously, there's Nazi scientists or whatever that like Foley was on board. Like, those people probably should have been killed and everything else. But like, guarantee you, if I were to guess, I would guess 3/4 of scientists in the Nazi party or whatever didn't want to do it. They had to for survivability or whatever you want to call it.
I tend to take a much more negative view. I think most of them were quite happy to do what they were doing,
You think so?
but again, yeah.
Because
But I mean, to be fair, my point with the Operation Paperclip was more they didn't execute all the scientists who'd done all those horrible
Sure.
experiments because they wanted the stuff. And I say, yeah, it's a bit amoral, but the question is also your enemy's going to do it, so you probably should make sure that you get to them first, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I
Yep.
don't know. That's my attitude, but I'm also a very cynical person, so I tend to
I mean, I
take
get
the
the idea.
attitude of, dude,
I get the idea and the thought process. Like I said, fucking, it's one of those like there's horrible bad, but like does the horrible like this person could solve cancer, or whatever the fuck. Like even if they did horrible things, if they solve cancer, does it worth it? Probably, or whatever the fuck. It's one of those pragmatic views, kind of the sense.
oh fuck, hang on, shit, that's never happened before. Okay, that's interesting. Hang on,
That's all right.
um, I just got. They never do. I've never seen that before. So Japan has the option to threaten Thailand into joining its faction.
Okay.
Thailand normally either Thailand says yes and joins, or they say no and Japan tries to invade them.
Okay.
This time, Thailand said no. Japan declared war on them, instantly made peace like 3 hours later, and then they joined the Japanese faction and now are attacking me in Cambodia. And that's unusual. I've never seen that before. All right, well, weird shit's happening. Eh?
is
But what can you do?
is something like having like a strong navy a good thing, so you can move troops around the world and shit, like in today's world?
I mean, yes, it is. To be fair, the navy in this game is quite challenging to understand, but once you figure it out, it's fine. Although I would recommend if you play as a country without a big starting navy, just build a bunch of naval bombers, send out the like if you've got like 120 naval bombers, you'll basically completely fuck over everybody else in the game. Or
Okay.
rather, whoever it is you're fighting. I did that. I put forward 120 heavy naval bombers with full torpedoes. I sunk all five of the Japanese carriers in about a year. So it's very doable. That was an actually absolutely ridiculous battle. I was surprised that even worked.
That's pretty dope.
But this game's actually super fun. I love the role playing aspect of it. I could talk about it for fucking hours. I love this game. But
Well, like I said, it sounds fun to me. I like games like that too. So
and it's what is it? I enjoy it's how would I put it? It seems to really understand who its audience is and like how to be fun and like slightly cool for lack of a better term.
mm-hmm.
I like the way they word a lot of the like achievements, for example. Like the wording whenever a country collapses are absolutely hilarious because it'll just be written like a propaganda post. It'll just be written like the cowardly whatever it is nation could not withstand the pressure of our relentless assault. It's absolutely hilarious. I
That's
love
funny.
it. It's such an ego. It's such an ego boost.
It's like old British speak, like Winston Churchill talking shit.
It's kind of like, and especially if you capture another country's capital city. Oh, that's fun. I love when that happens.
I bet.
But because yeah, when you capture another country's capital city, you get a special message when the city is captured. Like each capital has its own message, which and then it'll say your country captured it. It's very it's catering to a demographic, and I enjoy it.
I enjoy it.
But yeah, no, it's I recommend the shit out of it. It is I like how you sort of have to what is it? I like how you can basically design every single division from like the foundations on upwards. You can design every tank. You can decide what gun you want on your tank. You can decide what guns you want on your planes, what kind of engines. You can decide if you want a diesel or a gas engine on your tank. You can decide all this stuff, and you can for whichever is going to be most effective at whatever fight it is you're doing. And it's I
How
think that's probably the best part of it
how
is the
often
fact that you can
how
just be
often do you have to
completely
like
on it.
take over countries for like resources? Like I know that happens
Uh,
a lot in real life. So like in Germany they took over Norway and Scandinavia for the oil and shit like in World War II for real. So it's like, do you have to take over like if I take over, I don't know, in today's world I guess it'd be like Ukraine. We're taking over Ukraine because they have minerals. Is that shit kind of a big thing in that game?
Um, well, I mean, going back to World War II, I mean, you're taking over Ukraine more for its other resources. Actually, there isn't food in this game. I just remembered. So you're taking over Ukraine more for its coal than
Okay,
anything
yeah,
else.
yeah.
But yeah, it is that. To be fair, I don't conquer territory. I like puppeting things. I'm a massive puppet state enjoyer. Some people
You're an
love.
American inside.
I mean, more of a Soviet, to be fair, when you get
Oh.
right down to it. But more of a Stalinist in the Eastern Bloc kind of thing.
Right.
But no, I love puppet states mostly because yeah, you don't get that direct control in the sense that like your puppets can declare war on countries you'd really rather not be fighting right now, but also don't have to deal with constant revolts because they at least replicate the fact that if you take over somewhere, it's not your territory, and you'll deal with massive resistance, and you'll only have access to a small percentage of the resources that are there. So it isn't really in your best interest to just take everything. You can't. There's not enough. You do not have enough troops to possibly garrison that. It won't really work.
Do you have to do like
Um,
do you have to do like propaganda and try to get like support of like if you were to conquer area, would you have to like try to like win over the people, kind of thing?
you have to win over your own people for war support. You have a war support meter,
Okay.
which in an offensive war, your war support, which ranges from 0 to 100%. Some countries are lower than others, like the US is naturally very low to sort of represent its isolationism
Yep.
pre pre World War II kind of thing.
Yep.
Um, some countries are a lot higher, like Japan and its militarism, Germany as well, for example. And of course, um, if you're in a defensive war, you're automatically given a huge boost because your population is incensed you've been invaded. But yes, you do have to propagandize to your own people that it's worth it to go fight a war. And as well, if the war drags on, even a defensive war drags on for too long and there's too many casualties, you have to do things like propaganda over the radio waves, utilize the film industry and things like that. And you have to sort of make sure as the casualties mount. And oh boy, I'm China. I'm presently sitting at a nice 3.1 million casualties in 4 years. It's they'll mount quite a lot. So you have to keep your population on board um, with the war that's going on. So there is that. You do have to do propaganda, not to other people, but to your own, which I think is interesting.
Yeah, that sounds cool. I mean, it makes sense because even like right now with this whole Iran shit, like this is the first war I think I read, the first war that more people are against it than for it. And that's pretty fucking rare in America to have everybody be against war.
Did the Iraq War have like some of the largest anti-war protests in the U.S. though?
I don't think so. Support Iraq War 2001. Let's see here. In March of 2003, when we invaded Iraq, about 72% of Americans supported the action.
That's surprising.
Now, now what you're saying, I can see that
When
dwindling
when
like
you,
every
when we
year.
invaded, yeah, we talking like afterwards.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I can see it dwindling down. But I'm saying like we invaded Iran and our support started at like 44%.
Surprising.
Yeah, I'm saying. I think the thing I read was it's the first time that that more people in America are against a war than going to war against the country. Because usually you always start off with that patriotic, like we're taking them over, we're doing whatever, and then you kind of lose it later after it takes forever. But not this one. We just
I wonder how much of that. I wonder how much of that is to do with Donald Trump's personal controversy, or how much of that is to do with war weariness from the U.S. generally. Like, I kind of wonder
yeah.
if a different president was doing this, if there'd be. I mean,
See,
I have no answer to this
no, I
question,
get you.
and I'm not really.
So I always just equate, like even when I talk to people now about all this shit, it's like, didn't we learn from Iraq? Like these things go to forever wars. I thought we're like, so in America, I feel like most people are just trying to be imperialist and stuff, like, in the idea of that whole, we're gonna, like, when has America really taken over countries and it's ever gone smooth? Like every time we take over countries or try to do regime change, bad things usually tend to happen. Like there's always problems, and I don't think most people want to deal with that shit. And it's just like I said, right now we're at 23 days and it's almost $1 billion a day, so we're at like what, 21.5 billion dollars probably wasted on nothing. You know, like what are we getting out of this? We're not any safer. Prices of shit are all going up. You know, all this. Just I don't know.
What I would probably say is you're gaining, I guess, Gulf state allies not leaving, in the sense particularly of the Saudis and the Emiratis being
Sure.
very frightened of the Iranians, which I know is not like a satisfying answer. It sounds very sort of what's the word, like abstract realpolitik. Like, I do recognize that. I'm not necessarily trying to justify or not justify anything here,
No, yeah.
but to my mind, at the end of the day, you do have to maintain some relations with your power base wherever it may be. And yeah, the Gulf states have been screeching about this for the past, oh, I don't even know, 6 years, 7 years or so. The Saudis have actively threatened and said, if Iran gets a nuclear bomb, we're getting one too, which I can think of nothing more stressful than the Saudis and the Iranians having nuclear weapons. That sounds like a nightmare scenario to me personally.
Sure.
But I'd say that's one major thing, is the Gulf state allies not leaving. But again, yeah, not a terribly satisfying response, I acknowledge.
Yeah, I mean the thing is though, but like if you were a Saudi or UAE, wouldn't you have been just like better off with the status quo? Like the UAE has gone so big, like it's expanding so much, making so much money, all these things. Like I don't think that you wanted to have a fucking full fledged war. That's gonna Oil prices are gonna hurt you. They're bombing your hotels,
Yeah.
and now you have no tourism, which the UAE and all these shits make tons of money on tourism. You know, they're bombing international airplanes and shit, so you're losing that too. Just I don't know.
What I
I
guess
don't
I
know if
would
they would have traded all that to maybe them not having a nuke. I mean, I get the nuke idea itself, but like, I don't think they were that close. I feel like there's a lot of countries, not just us, that are watching all this shit happen to make sure it doesn't happen.
um for that, what I think. I suppose on the one hand, possibly, but on the other hand, if you neighbor a country who's actively been launching missiles at you for the past, what, 40 years, and then they threaten to get a nuclear weapon and have been very much demonstrating that they have at least the scientific capacity to do it. Because that's one thing actually Iran really doesn't struggle with somehow, despite being so heavily sanctioned, is they have a very educated population,
Mm-hmm.
um, which hasn't all left. I mean, a lot of them have, to be fair, but they have a very, what is it, educated population that could conceivably, how would I put it, that could conceivably get this thing built. But also, they've been striking you with missiles that aren't nuclear tipped. You, basically, in your head, you're thinking, they're clearly willing to do it if they get one, and I don't really want to take that risk. And also, they're right across the Gulf, which I imagine is probably what's going on in their heads. I wouldn't know for certain, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's part of the calculation.
Mm-hmm. And like the other thing I always try to preface to people in general is like, if you wanted to go to war with Iran, I feel like you should have fucking probably coalition with like Germany, France, Britain. Like this should have been a multinational, like international kind of thing. Like this is a problem we all see. It's a problem we all need to deal with. This problem. Let's do it all together and actually have like a real
Yeah,
plan.
The George H.W. Bush thing with Kuwait.
Yeah, just That's the thing. We have no
Which,
plan.
yeah, I
We
agree.
have no plan. We have no goal. The goal is 5 different goals, and the plan is 5 different plans. Like, so we don't actually have one. So I don't see this
I mean, I
ever
would agree
actually
with that.
working out the way it needs to work out. And I feel like, again, if you'd have had like the European Union, basically NATO, if you just had NATO, like those NATO countries and maybe Japan and India, because that affects them too, like come help take this over, deal with all this shit. It'd have probably been a lot easier and a lot smoother versus what we're just dealing with
Um,
chaos now. I think.
I mean, I would agree, to be fair, but and I would say that it is a somewhat multinational effort in the sense that the Saudis, the Kuwaitis, the Emiratis, the Qataris, and the Israelis are, and the Turks as well, are
Yep.
all quite in support of it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it doesn't really have a lot of Western support, admittedly,
Sure.
but there's some degree of international
Yes,
support.
but
But
that's
to be
after the
fair,
fact, though. But again, these their reaction. I don't. They wouldn't have attacked if Iran didn't start blowing up their shit after we attacked. I don't think the UAE or any of these countries would be involved. They're involved because they got pushed into being involved, kind of situation. I think.
in this particular instance, yes, I would mostly agree with that. Although I will say that this has been a thing since I remember in my 12th grade political science class, we were talking about the Saudis ringing the alarm bell about Iran wanting a nuclear weapon.
Mm-hmm.
And we had discussed that they had threatened to get one if the Iranians do. So this has been a thing that would have been,
In the
well,
'90s, at least.
it would have either been late 2020 or early 2021, depending on when this class was, and I cannot remember when. But that was my
Well, you got
grade
to remember
12.
we got out of the Iran nuclear deal in 2018. So after 2018, I bet they started ramping their shit back up. So it probably was like late 2019, early 2020 when all that happened. I would assume. And also, we killed
Yeah,
Soleimani in 2019.
I thought it was the election year. I thought it was 2020. I
Maybe it
don't
was
remember.
2020. It could have been 2020. But either way, it's like so like you pull out of the deal, and then you kill one of their top people. I'm assuming yeah, they're gonna go full fledged try to build nuclear weapons or just weaponry in general, kind of thing.
Um, but I suppose on the one hand, to be fair, they've been threatening that for a long time. They've been threatening that since like 2007. I want to say.
Probably long. Like I said,
Uh,
they've been 2 weeks away
whenever
from a
Mom,
nuke for since '96. What's the name? Netanyahu said in '96, "Oh, Iran's 2 weeks away from getting nuclear bomb," and like it's been 30 years. He's
well,
like,
I
"Oh,
mean,
it's 2 weeks away."
they're not helping their case by putting up a doomsday clock in the middle of Tehran saying, this is the clock counting down to when we get a nuclear weapon and bomb Israel. They're definitely not helping their reputational
Oh,
case,
I
I think, by
agree.
doing that sort
And
of shit.
again, yeah, Iran is horrible. Like I'm saying, like the idea of getting rid of the Ayatollah and all that shit, like I could be down with that, but just again, it's the process, it's the way they did it and how they're doing it. Like that's the part
Yeah.
that always gets me upset because, like I said, this should have been a bigger coalition of more countries doing it a smarter, better way instead of just fucking winging it. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, and I mean, I should clarify my support of like the somewhat what's the word I'm looking for here? I guess just sort of abstract support of the
Sure.
interventionism is not me saying to Americans, "You go die for me," because I'm not that kind of psycho.
No, I get that.
But which I worry I may come across as sometimes. But no, for me, I guess it's just I don't think it was terribly well thought through, but I don't think anything Donald Trump does is terribly well thought through.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not necessarily surprised it's flared up, and I don't think that a flare up was necessarily avoidable either, to be fair, because as I said, they've been threatening to get a nuclear bomb for a while. And what would it be? Like I said, yeah, you can't put up a doomsday clock saying this is the countdown to when we drop a nuke on Israel, and then call them a one bomb country for something like 14 years, and expect people to just think
I
you're a
get that,
friendly
but
person kind of
also
thing.
like to me, it's kind of like a toddler fucking saying, "I'm gonna beat you up," and then they never do, right? Like if they've been threatening something for 14 years and it ain't happened, what are the odds of it's gonna happen now? I guess I would assume it's probably not gonna happen at this point because you've been threatening it. You know, it's the boy who cried wolf kind of thing. If you keep lying, I'm never gonna believe you.
I would agree with that on a high-minded level. On the propagandist level of someone who has to keep his population riled up and on board with something, I would not.
No, I get that.
Which is
Yeah,
probably more why they've been saying it for so long. I also do generally get the impression the Iranian leadership would be very happy to drop a nuclear bomb on the Israelis.
I think they would too, but I feel like the internet, like all the satellites and shit. Like, dude, you can't. It's hard to hide uranium. Like, I just feel like it really is. Like, you need so much infrastructure and so much all this shit to do all this stuff. Like, I feel like Europeans or us or whoever would fucking be like, hey man, there's a lot of fucking suspicious bullshit. Let's go fucking deal with it now instead of later.
It is.
But again,
It is hard to hide uranium.
we just let North Korea get nukes, right? Like obviously we don't like them, and they're probably bad too. So like, what's the difference between North Korea and Iran in the sense?
I would say the difference is that North Korea has been actively sanctioned, and also their allies abandoned them. The sanctions had to go through the Security Council. Remember that thing that's preventing us from punishing the Russian Federation for their invasion of Ukraine because they just vetoed the punishment.
I didn't know that.
North Korea's sanctions had to go through the Security Council as well, and what happened? The Russians and the Chinese abandoned them. They dropped them like a stone. So what I'd say is I guess for lack of a better term, the point's been made regarding North Korea, and that I think anyone who is bitter about that's probably got their pound of flesh and saying, fine, you're just going to now sit there and impoverished for the rest of your nation for the next 30 years, whatever. We've made our point. It's not really worth pursuing it any further. At least I suspect that's
But my
what
guy idea is that fucking. But what's to stop him from being like, you know what? I'm sick of all these sanctions. Fuck everybody. I'm gonna nuke them, right? Like they have that same like they have like the same craziness, whatever the fuck. And their shit probably could hit America for what I was reading last day, or ICMs and shit, or ICBMs, or whatever the fuck. So like,
I don't get the impression Kim Jong-un wants to drop a nuke on the US. I think he just wanted the nuke to protect himself, which is
I get
what I
that
sort
too.
of see him doing.
I can see that too. Like I always tell people, like people are always like, why do these people want nukes? Like, well, you notice that America, Russia, China, they don't fuck with people with nukes. Like the only what was it? It's Pakistan and India. They're the only two countries that both have nukes that actually fight periodically, like war shit. Like like besides that,
And, every,
who?
and everyone is stressed out of their mind whenever it
Oh yes,
happens.
it is. But I'm saying, but they're the only two that have had wars and nukes at the same time, and it's not led to anything bad. But in general, yeah, if you have nukes, you're safe. Like like I said, China, Russia, whoever, they're not gonna really fuck with you.
You are mostly safe. I'd say the other thing, though, is to be fair, most of the rest of the world that is nuclear on. Sorry, one sec. I'm going to change mics. Let me know if you deal with audio issues here.
Nope, you're good.
Right, can you hear me?
Yep.
All right, sweet. So I have to go plug my phone in on the bed over on the other side, and because it was running out of charge.
I
But
feel
now
you.
I'm just getting my Bluetooth earbuds to talk. Right. What was I saying? Yeah. As a rule, I agree with you that it isn't probably terribly well thought through, but I would also say that there's probably plenty of sort of grim foreign policy to consider in a slightly Kissinger-esque way that can be a bit amoral and a bit unsatisfying to think about, but nonetheless is still there.
Sure. Like I said, to me, it's about the actual plan. Like I said, the idea of doing what we did, practically, I have no, like, I have some qualms, but not too much. But like I said, it's the how you're getting there. It's like, can we have a legit plan? Like I said, what is the we don't have a stated goal for this mission. The mission has been regime change, oil prices, this price. Like there's been like 4 to 5 different reasons. I just want one concrete. Like here is the goal, so we know what we're doing. Even first and foremost, and like I said, the other big thing is I wish this would have been a NATO thing or something. Uh, I'm starting to get more like I said when I started looking at like the Nuremberg trials and I was looking at this Tokyo trials more and shit. Like I feel like we need a better international like ICC. Like the ICC needs to have more power. Like when we know atrocities are happening, we should be able to try these people and be like, no, dude, we know you genocided this whole fucking town or where the fuck it is. Like we should not allow this shit no more. We should be getting better as humans.
On the one hand, yes. On the other hand, this requires all the powerful people to give up their lack of accountability, which they're never, ever, ever going to do, which is the main challenge.
Yeah, but I mean, like, but again, we have precedents. We can do this. It's just it's hard, and I understand that. But like, Like we already have the
Yeah.
like we have these things set up. We just need to like when the like what was it? Was it ICC or the ICJ? One of them said that
Which
yeah, Netanyahu is a fucking war criminal. Like that should be like, okay, dude, you can't be president of this country anymore. Like you're a fucking war criminal. Like we put it out. We know you did these things, and that should just be the end. And then the whole world should be like, not maybe not the whole world, but at least all the major players should be like, yep, we need to try this guy for war crimes because that's not good. Like, what's the point of having Geneva?
the main chat.
Even with like Trump, like we double tap boats. Like that should be a war crime. Like he should be tried on an international stage. Honestly,
I don't know what double tapped means in that context, unfortunately, but
so he shot the boat. He blew up the boats, and there were survivors in the fucking ocean, and he shot them too. That's against the Geneva Convention shit. Like if a boat, once you destroy a boat, you're supposed to save the people who are in the ocean dying, basically, or whatever.
oh yes, yes, I see what you mean. True. I'd say the main issue as well is well, there's points of what is it? There's points of contention regarding it. For example, the whole thing of enforcement. Most countries don't want some international entity to just sort of lumber in and arrest their leader. That generally would frighten most countries, and they wouldn't ever sign up to it, which is one of the like probably problem zero, really, when you get right down to it. And it would be that, but then there's also the just general points of how does this not just become a cartel, for lack of a better term? Because what is it? Specifically, for example, regarding Israel, Israel basically has like about 30 countries in the UN which will always vote against it because they're quite massively anti-Semitic countries.
Yep.
Mostly Muslim majority countries. So regarding UN votes, there's a bunch of places that will always vote against them. So what exactly are you supposed to do against that? Like there's a huge bias issue there.
That's 30 out of what 206 countries. So I mean, technically, you still get a fucking another 100 countries to take your side, and you still would win, right? You know, like even if they're like
It makes your job a lot easier.
makes your job a lot easier.
As in, if you want to go after if you want to go after whoever's in charge of Israel at any time, it still makes your job a lot easier in the sense that now you've got a bunch of people always willing to vote for you, right?
Sure. I mean, it's the same thing as like Republicans always are going to get the evangelical vote. You know, like that's a big block of votes that always go this way. So I mean, it sucks, but like guess what? Like just in general, like the Democrats have to overcome it, and they have overcome it. So like, it's not impossible. That's kind of my point. Like, it might be hard and it might be whatever, but like, it can. And I feel like it's getting to the point where it should be done. Like we can watch atrocities happen live on TV or on the internet all the time. Like we should watching what happened in Gaza. Everyone should be like, oh yeah, like they had a right to defend themselves after October 7th, but they didn't have the right to kill a whole fucking city slash whatever you want to call it. You know, like that's a war crime.
And again, what I say to that, for example, is the fact that if you look at the casualty counts, the Gaza invasion has been astonishingly low. Like for a city that big and that densely populated, the fact that the casualty count is sitting at around 60,000 out of 2 million after 3 years, that's very impressive. Actually, we can get right down to it.
Yeah. 75,500, give or take, it says. All right.
To be fair, I checked those numbers probably about 6 months ago. So.
Yeah, just looking now. It says as of February 21st of 2026, 227. Yeah. But either way, there's like 6 million people live there before.
About two and a half million before. 20. So basically, imagine fighting a full-scale war in a place about as densely populated as a place about as populated and densely populated as Chicago. Fight a war there for 3 years and somehow come away with a casualty count that is still only in the tens of thousands. That is quite impressive at the end of the day.
How many Palestinians have refugee do you think out of this out of Gazans? Like how many are on the how many have moved already to like Europe or wherever? Do you think?
Well, is to sound a bit grim here, no one will wants to take them, including the Arab states, because
I
they
get
cause
that.
a coup everywhere they go.
I know.
Uh, the the Arab states won't take them in because, well, Jordan won't because they tried to in Black September. Um, the Kuwaitis won't because they were collaborating with Saddam Hussein when he invaded them. The Syrians are, well, their country was actively in a state of collapse for a while. Um, no one else basically is willing to take them in because for lack of a better term, they're quite a dangerous demographic. Even the Egyptians who have a
I know.
border with the Gaza Strip. That's why I'm always annoyed when people say Israeli blockade of Gaza. It's like, no, the Egyptians do it as well because they also recognize that it's not really in their best interest to open that border.
They use them as like
Not a lot of them.
yeah, I'm saying Egyptians. A lot of these people funnel money to them to be fucking just fighters against Israel. That's all they did. So like, all these people have been raised to fight wars, so nobody wants them because that's all they want to do. Like really, that's like their whole mission.
And then there's also the history. If you're Jordan, for example, and they attempted a coup in the 90s, you're not going to take them in.
No, I get all that. No, yeah, that's part of it. For sure, I totally get all that. That's like I said. That's why, even like after '73, Egypt never let them in and shit. Same thing. Because basically, I'm
Mhm.
saying like
And
all the Israeli countries, not Israeli, all the Palestinian or Muslim countries funneled money to them to basically make them just soldiers all the time, and they're mass propaganda to be just to be filled with hate and a bunch of nonsense in general.
yeah, it's to some degree, I do agree. I would honestly say it was probably more just the Arab states wanting to eliminate Israel in a very genocidal way. I mean, if you
Sure.
track down quotes from the old Arab leaders, they're basically all saying the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
We wish to see the eradication of this state. So
Yeah.
I don't think they necessarily were like pushing them that way. I think they themselves were very willing to do it of their own accord. Um,
Sure.
and
But I guess my argument would be like, then why did like the UAE, all these other countries, like they don't hate Israel. They're Muslim run. You know, like
they what? Sorry.
I was saying, like the UAE, Saudi Arabia, they don't hate Israel anymore, and they're Muslim ran countries. So like you can change, but just like I said, I think that certain, I think they were just bred to be fucking terrorists in the sense like that area of like Gaza, like the Hezbollahs, all those people, Hamas. Like I think the Irans and like the major players who really do hate Israel's like to the max. They're the ones funneling them to just be super soldier, not super soldier, just to be soldiers all the time against the cause, which is the cause is anti-Israeli.
Um, I was going to try to think of a point here. I completely lost my train of thought here. Can you repeat like the last bit of this? Hang on.
I'm just saying that like the major Arab nations funnel money and to make the terrorists like I was saying like the Hezbollahs, the people of Gaza, the Hamas, all this shit.
Oh, that
Like
was my point. Yes, I remember. I remember what I was going to say now. Thank you. What I was going to say is no, because Hezbollah is quite famously funded by the Iranians, not the Arab states. They've never funded them. It's one of the big reasons why the Arab states have been abandoning uh, uh, Hamas and the Palestinians quite substantially recently, is they've been receiving quite a good bulk of their funding from Iran. So that was I remember now. Yeah.
mm-hmm.
So not really, in the sense that Iran's the one funding Hezbollah and the other one, Hamas.
Hamas, yeah.
So no, the Arab states aren't. The Arab states are not really using them to do their dirty work that way because they're not funding them.
Okay.
I don't think they necessarily like the Israelis, so I don't think they really shed a tear if
No,
there's dead
I
Israelis.
just
But
no. I think that like was like the UAE and Saudi Arabia. I think they're trying to get more into the Western capital. Just they're done warring. They just want to make money. Like we have prime property with all the fucking beautiful coastland. We have oil. We have all this money. Like let's just get tourists and shit here to make money. Like I think that's their whole idea. Which to me it sounds better anyways. Like why not make money off people instead of fucking always spending all your money on war all the fucking time.
Religious fervor convinces people to do a lot of things.
I think some of it's religion. I tend to think it's more money. Like I said, like whoever owns some of, like if you own the Strait of Hormuz, you make a lot of money. If you own this part of the world, you make a lot of money because a lot of trade happens there. I think that's. I tend to think it's more of
I
that.
don't believe you can. I don't believe you can tax the Strait of Hormuz. I think the only issue is that it's just a very easily blockaded place in an unstable part of the world that occasionally gets blockaded. I don't think you can tax it. I'm pretty certain you can't.
I thought Iran gets paid for people that go through like a tax. I'll double check.
Um, I don't believe so. I think the only ones you're allowed to are the man-made ones, like the Panama Canal and the Suez Canal.
Yes, it says Iran primarily controls and generates revenue from the Strait of Hormuz by facilitating its own oil exports, demanding tolls and fees for safe passage from selected foreign tankers, and exercises selective control during conflicts, which is happening now.
Well, there you go. Um, I'm incorrect. I suppose on the one hand, yes, most like, narrow waterways would be quite a source of money. I don't necessarily think it's because of the oil. I think it's just because of the volume of traffic. But fair enough, I get your point.
Yeah, it might
But
not be oil. It's just I'm saying this. I'm talking about even like thousands of years ago. Like this was important because if you were to trade spices or whatever the fuck you're trading, if you could choke that area, I mean that's why I tend to think like the Byzantines and the fucking Roman Empire, all these empires own this part of the land is because it's fucking valuable as fuck. You own the
yeah,
taxes that
that's
always get paid through all those ships. You know that.
yeah, that's the Ottoman. That was the Ottomans' whole strat, wasn't it?
You know. Yeah, so I'm saying like so I'm saying I mean there is some I'm not saying there's not stupid. There is some religious parts to it, but like in general, like I said, throughout time, whoever owns this land makes all the money, and I think that's the bigger factor than religious. I mean, some like I said, there's gonna be religious aspects to it, but people
Yeah,
people
fair
do
enough.
everything for money.
I would mostly agree. Although on the one hand, I like religion, for example. I like theology and sort of looking into it. From what I do know of Islam, I just don't really agree. But fair enough. Agree to disagree here.
Because I mean, I don't know. I guess if you think about like I said in today's world, like why did the UAE and all these people stop warring and shit? Like they're just as religious, right? To an extent.
Um, well, I'd say what they haven't, or they do, just not directly. They fund quite a lot of things globally. In the case of the Saudis, for example, if you've ever seen any mosque that's because you have to look this up on their website. If you any mosque that is a Salafi mosque, you don't need to know what that is. All you need to know is it's a very conservative aspect of Islam. Any mosque anywhere that you see, which is a Salafi mosque, probably will have it on its website. It's receiving Saudi money to fund the infrastructure for the building. You can almost guarantee that it is.
Yeah.
So, and that's in large part to blame for the sort of increased radicalization, I'd say, of Muslims in a lot of the world, especially in the West, where they tend to be sort of what's the word? They sort of people tend to develop a bit of a bunker mentality because they're the only people of their religion around, and that they tend to sort of mentally like lock themselves down, for lack of a better term.
Okay.
And but a lot of the and they're sort of egged on by a lot of the Salafi institutions, mostly funded by the Saudis. So they get their licks in somewhere.
Sure.
But yes, they just don't. They don't fund. They don't fight directly. They just
I mean,
what is it? They
honestly,
just
in most of the wars since World War II, we don't fight wars like that. Like it's all proxy wars.
that's true. Yeah. A lot of the rest of the world does do that, but we also haven't had big caliphates going through the country, taking over good big chunks of it.
Huh.
What's up?
I just found out one of my coworkers went to jail for fucking drug possession. Someone sent me a
What
fucking
happened?
thing like, "What happened?" I'm like, "I don't fucking know." Like, I didn't see him yesterday.
Was it like actual drug possession, or was it you
Yeah,
been
it's
found with a bag of
well, I
weed?
mean, it says paraphernalia. It says fifth degree paraphernalia. There was he had a whatever he was doing was left over in a bowl, basically. So he had drug residue in his bowl,
Paraphernalia. What does paraphernalia mean
like
actually in this context?
like a bowl, like if you had a pipe.
Oh, that type of thing. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, if he had a weed pipe, and then like, so he didn't have like let's this analogy. He didn't have any weed, but he had fucking weed residue in his bowl. But I
I
mean,
feel like the fact you have a quote unquote bowl is probably proof that you've got weed, to be fair.
oh, not in America. You can if you like if you were to walk around with a bowl with no fucking anything, you'd be fine. Like they can't
Seriously, you could just walk around with like a bong and you'd be fine.
technically, yeah. I mean, there's been videos of people walking up to cops, and they'll actually be doing it like with tobacco and just fucking. You'll see cops roll up, like what the, try to arrest them and shit. And they're like, dude, it's just tobacco. Look, and they do it like Jesus Christ, like you're not supposed. You should be doing this. Everyone thinks you're doing this. He's like, yeah, but I'm not. So nothing they can do.
That's a much braver person than me to do that up to an American police officer.
Oh, like I said, I
But
wouldn't do it either, but I've
um,
seen it.
I will say I'm also massively disappointed that Americans don't smoke corncob pipes anymore, like Douglas MacArthur. I think that's a tragedy. I like his massive, like the one in his famous image. I think that's the only way that Americans should smoke tobacco. I think it's such an
which
iconic
which
image that
way?
not having it
The
kind
corn
of
cob
shame.
pipe.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
corncob pipes.
yeah,
I
that's
think the fact that Americans don't smoke corncob pipes is a tragedy.
you know, I have a few people at the bar that still do that shit randomly. It's kind of cool in its own way. It does have like a certain like look and like I don't know like ambiance to be honest. So I get what you're saying. Like it looks cool.
I just imagine that, like, yeah, the famous image of Douglas MacArthur.
Oh yeah, dude, Douglas MacArthur. Well, he was like 6'3", 6'4", wasn't he? He was a big tall dude.
A lot of these guys were, to be fair. A lot of the World War II generals were like unnaturally tall.
I would say because that was really tall back then. Like my grandparents owned a house from like it was built like in 1892 or in 1893. It's old as fuck. It's 100 plus years old, and you could tell from that time period when they made the house, like people probably only lived or were probably only like 5'7", 5'8", because everything's so fucking
Because what were
small.
you hitting your head on all the doors, kind of thing?
Yeah, you have to fucking duck everywhere. Which is funny because they bought the house, but my grandpa was like, so again in World War II, he was like 6'2", 6'3". He was a big tall motherfucker.
Mm. So basically, you got like the white guy in Japan experience of just always like having to duck under everything
Yep.
because
Oh
it's
yeah.
designed for people way
If
shorter.
if they ever asked you to go upstairs, like after the third step, you'd have to like hunch your back no matter what. And like I said,
How tall are you?
I'm only like 6 feet. I'm not even that tall. But I'm just saying, but their house is so small because, like I said, it was 100. Like I said, this house had to be built for 5'7", 5'8", maybe. Like everything's so small.
That is kind of amusing.
It's wild. I remember as a kid, like, oh god. And
I
now
have not. Yeah, no.
that house
Oh, sorry,
is
go
a
for it.
historical house now. After they died, they made it a historical house now.
Oh,
People
nice.
just walk in and it's like a mini museum. You could be like, oh, this is what houses were like in the late 1800s.
We have that with like a ranch nearby. It's kind of nice. It's it's called O'Keefe's Ranch. They've got like a preserved house in there with like a bunch of old stuff, like a
Hmm.
bunch of what's it called?
You know, I'm assuming. I
Uh,
mean, if I were to guess, I would assume that like after they moved all their grandparents shit out, I'm assuming they probably put like a bunch of like, antique stuff from like the 1890s, like and kind of fill it out.
yeah, I mean, if I had a historic house, that's what I'd be doing personally. I don't know why you'd have a historic house and not fill it up with antiques. It feels just like
Hmm.
massive waste. Like, what would you have the house for otherwise?
Yeah, right. Or that. I mean, if you're not gonna do anything cool like historical, then you should just demolish it and make it modern. Like like basically like that whole block to 5 block area because it's like original like downtown area is all fucking 1800s. So like I said, either you make it all historical cool shit and keep it forever, or you demolish it all and make it all modern houses so you can have bigger houses for actual families to live there now and shit.
I also would be a bit nervous of old homes being full of something radioactive and just basically slowly killing me without me knowing it.
Yeah, dude. I mean, the house I own is it was built in '88, so it's not too bad. But yeah, I
No,
wouldn't.
that's nothing. I'm talking like the houses from like the 1920s. It's like this house is filled with uranium. Fuck you, you're gonna die.
That or like a pestis or all the drugs that, or not drugs but chemicals and shit they use.
Asbestos, you mean? Yeah, no, that would terrify me. And like, yeah, no, that would be absolutely terrifying for me. And especially since because they didn't know it was dangerous, there'd just be like no alert. You would just be slowly killing yourself without realizing.
That yeah.
Yeah.
I suppose I mean that would be the worst way to go because at least you don't know about it. Because I feel like knowing about it is actually what kills you like faster because it's the stress of being like oh fuck oh fuck oh fuck oh fuck you know.
I mean, I think the lung cancer will kill you pretty quick, regardless. Personally,
Yeah, but I don't know. It's like anything. I feel like the more you're mentally you know putting all your focus and shit there, I think it's gonna. I don't know. I just think it makes it worse. I don't know if there's any science behind it, but I kind of think of it like a performance anxiety kind of thing because they do that. They did a study. It's called the Templeton Foundation. It's a Christian people, but they did a study on prayer, and they found out that people when people know they're being prayed for, like if you have cancer and you know you're being prayed for to get better, you die faster because now you have performance anxiety. You don't want to let people down. You don't want to do all this shit, so therefore it kills you because you have stress. Adds stress to your life.
that's interesting. I kind of like to read that because
I can send it to you.
I guess the immediate opposite side of that would be it might be kind of peaceful because if you believe in prayer, you'd be receiving help kind of thing in a in
Sure, but
a
like
in
I
a
said,
downcast.
the study basically breaks down to like I said, like once you know, like if you have 14 friends go, bro, I'm praying for you. I hope that you get better. I'm praying that you don't want to let your friends down. You don't want to let your family down. You don't want to let these people down. So like I said, you start stressing yourself out. Your heart starts pumping more. Your whatever, and then eventually just it kills you faster. You're like let's see if I can find it. Hold on. Study on prayer, which is funny again because this is a Christian people. They were trying to prove that prayer helps, and it doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know. That sounds interesting. I also don't relate to what you're saying. Like, I don't get performance anxiety if I'm prayed for. That's not like I don't relate
Not
it
for
to that at
you.
all.
Well, like I said, like I don't know. It'd be like having everybody like I guess like if you had to take your driver's test again, like at 15, 16 kind of thing, and you had everybody saying like, dude, you better do good. I hope you do good. You better do good. You better do blah blah blah. It might make you start questioning, it might double like you start overthinking it and overthinking it so much where it literally is a detriment because you're trying to not make sure you don't want to let anybody down. You don't want to be like, I failed the test and my brother's gonna call me an idiot or whatever, like all these little dumb thoughts that come through your head, right?
I mean, to be fair, he would. So that, if anything, that would motivate me more out of pure spite. But
Sure. Yeah.
that's just my family, to be fair, and I'm a very spite motivated
No,
person.
yeah, that's fine. I mean, I get that thought process, but like I said, just in general, what this what this says 59% of those who were being prayed for experienced at least one complication compared to 52% who had no prayers for them. Things like that, like
So like a 6% difference then.
6 7% better. Yep.
Mm, fair.
It's like
I mean, that's
like
so small. I'd kind of like that test to be run again, personally, but fair enough then.
I mean, the whole thing is because their numbers didn't come out the way they wanted to. They haven't done this test again. This happened like in 2006, and nobody
Interesting.
and
I would
religious
want,
and
I'd
re-
want to run the test again because
I mean,
it's
sure,
too
I would
small.
too. But like again, this is gonna be. I mean, I guess you could have secularists do it to basically negate the thought process that prayer doesn't work. I guess, but like, I would tend to believe that it's going to be a Christian organization trying to prove that it is right. You know, like here's like that was their whole point. Like, can science? What can science say about the prayers? Like they were really hoping that this would be like, yeah, we got it, dude, and it's not.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I don't know the level to which the US is quite that religious in your part of the US. I know the American South is very evangelical, but I have absolutely no idea how much it would be in
Last
or
I
whatever.
looked at some studies or whatever the fuck. In America, or not America, in Minnesota, we tend to be uh, Catholic. I think Catholic's the biggest religion here.
Isn't it? I'd be surprised. That would genuinely should surprise me more than anything else.
Basically, most of the North Midwest are Catholics, kind of thing.
Hmm.
The last I saw. Hold on. Jesus Christ. Jesus. I have no clue. I wasn't there. Chick keeps asking me like,
What
"What?
do you ask? What's that?
Oh, this, like I said, the chick about the one coworker. She's like, "Did he get all of his stuff?" I'm like, I don't know. Like I told you, I don't work nights no more, so I didn't see. I don't know anything about this. This is the first
Is
I'm
this the
hearing
guy who
about it.
got arrested?
Huh?
Is this the guy who got arrested? You mean that you're talking about?
Yeah, the guy that got arrested. It's like his ex-wife is texting me about what happened. This, and I keep trying to be like, I don't honestly know. I don't know anything about it. Not trying to be mean. Like
Yeah.
sometimes I'm just saying no just to because I don't want to talk about it. But like this time, like I have no clue.
Yeah, fair enough. I wouldn't have any clue either.
Right? It's like yeah, I think that I always we need to get a better way of having like secular people have like community meetings and get-togethers. That's what religion does really good.
Isn't that basically just a book study?
Religion is a book study.
No, as in a secular meetup. Isn't that basically just like a library book study?
I mean, it could be, but I'm thinking more like community based. So like I feel like it depends on your city size, but like if you live in like a city of like
Yeah.
10,000 people, maybe like have like 10 meetings of like 100 people, and you kind of like I feel like the reason why you'd have people hating like poor people, whatever kind of shit, like oh these people all just moochers off the government, but like well if you actually met dude, maybe you realize the situation he was in and not think so negative of this person and the situation they're going through and that kind of shit. Because I feel like that's what religion does good is that you get the community to meet together. You meet Steve and Stacy every fucking Sunday at church. So like when they have problems, when they have issues, you empathize with them and you care about them versus just reading about these people like on an internet thing and you don't know who the fuck they are and you go, well, they're just lazy bums. They just want a handout from the governments and this and this and this. Like
Yeah, I also think just for general mental health, that's why I suspect that we're seeing a sort of a spike in religiosity is that it delivers that community aspect that sometimes the people are lacking, or more to the point that people had in the past in the form of religion that now they're sort of re-seeking in the form of religion. I would agree with that. But that said, I don't think you'd be able to convince people to get together for like a secular meetup just because like why would they meet up, right? At least in a religious case, there's a reason for it. So that would be the main challenge, I think. You know?
yeah,
Sorry, if my cat's being loud, he's being annoying.
yeah. My kitty's sleeping. He's being nice and cute.
My cat's he hears me making the kettle because I'm gonna make a cup of tea.
Oh, okay.
And whenever my mum puts the kettle on, she always gives him a treat. And so now he's been Pavloved into thinking that the kettle sound equals treat.
That's
And
funny.
I'm a bit grumpy that my mum did that because now I have to deal with that.
That is funny. Yeah, now the chick's like, y'all are enabling him. Like, how are we enable? Like, do I go buy his drugs for him or whatever the fuck? Isn't he an adult? Like, he works here. Like, he works at the place. What do you want? You want us to fire him because he's a whatever? Like, he shows up to work and does what we ask. Like, sure. Like, I don't know. Just unnecessary drama that I don't even really want to be a part of. It's like, I have nothing to do with this, so why the fuck are you talking to me about it?
Hmm. Did I cut out?
You did. If you were talking, I didn't hear a word you said.
That makes sense. I must have cut out at some point. No, I was just mentioning. Saw a thing that was comparing like tea compared to coffee drinking,
Mm-hmm.
and the U.S. was like half the amount that we drink. Like drinks like half the amount of tea that we drink,
But like
and I was
5 times
surprised because
coffee.
like most of your well, you drink like half the amount of tea and twice the amount of coffee that we do
Okay.
comparatively.
Okay.
But then I looked up where most of like America's immigrants come from, and they mostly come from tea drinking countries, which I was surprised that there's so little tea culture. Because like you've got a lot of Irish people there, you've got a lot of British people there from the beginning, you've
Mm-hmm.
got plenty of Eastern Europeans in the Midwest, Chinese people on the West Coast. Like they all come from majority tea countries because it was like a whole world map. And yet, for some reason, when they go to the US, they just stop and they all just start drinking coffee. And I found that kind of interesting. I was kind of curious how that ended up happening. I found that stat really interesting.
I mean, just thinking, I'm guessing coffee was probably cheaper because we got it from Colombia and shit, like South America. Like
Possibly, yeah.
probably closer trade routes and shit. That mean just spitballing and thinking off the top of my head. I'm like, because wait, I don't know. Tea's like everywhere though. Like you can get tea in Minnesota, like fresh, like made or whatever. Or
I know. I was just comparing like quantity
mm,
consumed by like
I
a
know. I'm just trying to think
self-reported
of. I was just trying to
whole
think of like
thing.
what made people like, because I always tend to think like money and shit's usually the biggest reason why people switch. So it's like, was it like cheaper? Was
Yeah,
it you know?
but yeah, but like I said, most of the immigrants come from tea drinking countries, which is why I was so fascinated because it's like, huh, I wonder what made them stop when they went
Tea
to the
is better
US.
than coffee every day of the week. I will always say that.
I fully agree.
I
Yeah.
don't. I don't
No,
have a.
I like those stats. I love those random sociology points of like, huh, why did this happen? I enjoy the random study of that sort of thing. But,
Yeah.
get the tea bags out. But yeah, if you do decide to get Hearts of Iron 4, let me know. I'm very happy to teach you how to play. I will be heading out now because I'm getting a bit sleepy.
I get it. Yeah, it's almost
Um,
past midnight here. I'll probably be going to bed too.
yeah, it's about 10 after 10 here, so I'm gonna head out. Nice talking with you.
No
If
problem.
you get the game, let me know. Happy to teach you how to play. And
I will
yeah,
let you know for sure.
see you another time.
All right. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye. That was a good. I like talking to them. But then we got Sarah trying to blame us. He's doing drugs. What do you? Okay. Has he robbed us? Does he show up? You are enabling him. Like, right? Like, if you want him to get off his shit, cool. Like, if it's so easy, why don't you get him off it? Like, you try to put it. You should get him off this shit. Like, I could fucking make people do what the fuck they want or not to do. He's probably doing meth there too. Maybe, I don't fucking know. I'm not there at night, so you don't do it in front of me. Like, that's all I can tell you. I don't know. If he does, if he doesn't, I don't fucking know, and I don't really even want to know. I mean, I hope he's not, but in the end, what the fuck am I gonna do? You can fire him. You can fire him. That will get him clean. And that will. Okay, yeah. He worked Saturday, like he said. He got arrested on the 18th and worked on the 22nd. No, we just said the 18th or 19th, one of those days. Yeah, the 18th. So he got out and then came to work. What do you want? What the fuck you want from me? Blue, red. Well, that sucked. Well, I guess I got through 6 there. Like, I don't even know if you can. Can you fire someone for drug testing? Let's see this answer. At will, meaning a players can terminate it for any reason or as long as it's not illegal ones. This generally includes off. That I can do my part. Earned. not your time to do your part. He DM'd me Saturday. That was his last night shift. Yes. And after, he could have gone to treatment. Could have. I don't know if he did. But it could have happened. Like, it's not out of the realm of plausibilities. Like, you could fire him. You could fire. Like, you think that firing dude's gonna make him just be like, "Yep, I gotta quit." Maybe it could happen. I mean, it's not a 0% chance, but fuck, man. Like, you were married to him. And you think he's gonna listen to me? Yes, I was married to him. That's why I still care about him. Sure. Well, why are you blaming me or the place I work at for him doing drugs? Like, just make that make sense. Might help. Might help. Okay. How? Like, how many homeless people do you see in America? That's how we know it doesn't fucking work. Like, no, he's got problems. Sure. I mean, treatment would be cool. I'm not saying don't do it, but like, how you gonna force someone to do it? Like, fuck, man. I just think it's weird that they're trying to blame the bar for hiring a dude. I mean, is this the first time he's been? I don't know. Has he been arrested before? Yeah, this is from 5 days ago, but no, that's not what I was trying to do. I just, is this the only time? Didn't anyone tell Amina that? Did anyone tell that to her? Yeah, we did. And did she get off it? No, because that's not how it fucking works. You're just a meth head, blah, blah, blah. That will get them off it. Okay. Okay. Like, this is what it's like talking to Trumpers about real issues. Like, that actually affect them. They have no clue how things work. Like, that's not how it works. You can't just tell someone, get off the shit, bro, and everything will be better. Crazy. Like, you're enabling them. You're enabling them. I bet. I bet. Did he tell you about that? I don't talk to him. Like, I don't know how many more I say that. I just don't talk to him. He's not in my realm of things to worry about at all. Right? You gonna play this? Are you enabling? Like, if he burnt your fucking house down, did you call the cops on him and tell him to go to treatment and do all that shit? Are you enabling him? Like, what the fuck? Like, no, you don't get to fucking throw accusations at me and then fuck off. You guys are enabling him by having him have a job. Oh, he burnt my house down, and what? I didn't do nothing about it. Oh, who's enabling who? Who's got the bigger sin? Sounds like you. This might be the first time ever arrested, too. I don't see any other. Yeah, I literally don't. Yeah, 5 days ago. I only see one, and it's the loneliest number. Yeah. Because I loved him. I was an enabler, like a Ken Stabler. Do 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 do. Catch your tongue, huh? You don't have to say it because it's true. If you keep saying he. Divorce? That's how he copes. That's how he copes. Sounds a lot like you're enabling him, but then it's my fault or the bar's fault. Okay. Kettle black, like. I didn't runs. Never said you did. What a weird thing to say. Makes no fucking sense. is. Oh, nice green. Thank you. I did not see that coming. Like, nobody said you did. Oh. Firing a drug addict. Make them clean. Meow, meow. I'm not knocking you, bro. I'm just saying you enable fucking drug addicts. Like, what? Okay, lady. I'm not saying it's this, so. Okay. Yeah, you did. You used the word enabler right the fuck away. After you asked me. Tell him. Yeah, I started. Tell him your place of business not for holding his belongings anymore. You all are enabling him. So that's how it all started with this whole enabling thing. Ow. Ow. Jesus, mama cat. Jesus, ow, you little fucker sometimes. Right? Like he just smokes the shit right for everybody because he's so cool. He's able to use there. Oh, really? Just he sits out on the back patio fucking smoking meth. Yeah, totally. The fuck? in the basement. Jeez. Oh my cat, what are you doing? Oh, this enable. Like, fuck. Like, fucking. What a dumb conversation. Trying to blame everyone but the person and yourself. You were married to the guy. I haven't seen him in a couple years, so I don't think he does. Just so stupid. You're so dumb. bring up Saturday was the last day. It's the last time I saw him. Of course, I don't ever see him. I keep trying to tell you this. I don't talk to dude. I don't see dude ever. I don't work nights. So Saturday was the last day. I don't fucking tell you. It could have been. Probably was. I don't know. Hold on. Can you look up? Can you look up? Nope. HIPAA. That makes sense. I guess that makes sense. What? Oh, now you want to talk about the topic. What kind of enabler was I? I don't know. Was he doing drugs at your house? I bet he was. I don't use meth. How am I enabling according to you? Also, you keep saying he uses here, so we enable, but he used at your you aren't. How does that work? That's why. Because if he uses at your house where you live, you're not enabling, but he uses at my work, we're enabling. And you don't see a problem. Okay. That's funny. You keep asking me the same question because you don't answer it, and you keep calling me an enabler or us enablers when you do the exact when the same shit happen at your fucking house. And somehow that's not enabling. That's the question, lady. I never use meth, and you keep asking me to give you a reason. Maybe that is why Jared. Maybe that's why he uses. I don't know. Like what?
No one ever used at my place. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Me and Jared got divorced years and years and years ago. Anyway, I just messaged him and I was like, hey, so apparently, you're not quitting Misfits and you didn't get a storage unit, I assume, because you probably never grabbed all your shit out of Misfits.
see. You already sent me that. I just, blah, blah, blah. You never used with me. Psst, okay. Haven't seen him in years. You think that this all started just like recently? I mean, I guess I don't know because again, I don't know do much. I barely talk. Do 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 do. Do I at least get a cash in to make it at least kind of close? Yeah, I do. Go here, go here. Boom, boom. Madagascar. She's got a big scar from Madagascar. Oh my god, what a horrible way to start. He's got a cash in coming in though too. That's gonna suck dick for chips. I technically have more characters than him right now at this very moment. At least I got him down one less. 6. Huh. Yep, he cashed in. The hippocampus. Cool, he's gonna leave me this, so I'm gonna get at least 5. He's gonna get 5. are all these people so mean to me? Why are they all so mean? I just called you a name and talked shit about. Cool. You calling everyone fucking enablers of the bar and where I work? Cool. But don't ask me for shit. Yep. Well, I can't wait to screenshot these and show everybody fucking what a cunt you are. Yep. Go play the victim. I gotta play the victim? Yeah. You're asking for our help, and then you call us fucking. Like, how dumb are you? Are you confusing me with someone else? No, bitch. I fucking told you. Right the fucking. You called me and everyone at Misfit, not just you, honey. Okay. Cool. And with that, we're done. Like I said, don't ask me for shit. Like, if you can't figure it out, that's on you. That's on you. What a dumb fucking bitch. asking for help about something that I can't help you with, and then, ooh, you guys are all enablers there. You're all blah 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 blah. Okay, cool. Then I don't know why you're asking my help. Then don't know why you're asking for my help. Yeah. Oh yeah. $1.4 trillion in credit card debt in America. Jesus. Fucking wild. And she really can't figure out. I keep using the same fucking word over and over. Like, oh, I wonder why she was up. I'm so confused about my husband, ex-husband missing. He wasn't missing, obviously. You knew where the fuck he was. Yeah. Oh, is it PSs, whatever. Clinch postseason. Yeah, clinch postseason. Not the spot yet. Only two are in, technically. So funny. Yeah. What a dumb fucking dumb. Mm-hmm. it. I just need help. Oh yeah, like the poor people you want to help that you don't. Y'all let him swear shit there. Oh, I bet. We let him. Okay. Right. It's funny. No, it's not, bitch. You don't call someone fucking an enabler as a person that had to fucking deal with drug habits, addicts in his family, robbing him and fucking not. I hate these kind of shits, but you know, it's my fault, right? Like he said, he does it in front of us all day long. Fucking wild. And like I said, you want help, you don't want to help poor people. You want help, you don't want to help anybody else, so fuck off, anyways. You can fuck the fuck off. You see- I didn't want to bring up family stuff. You, bitch, you brought up literally this whole conversation is you bringing up shit to me over and over and over and over again, calling us enablers and this and this and this. I don't know why you're being like this. If you can't figure it out, then you're fucking dumb. You left me no choice. I didn't want to bring up family. You think I give a fuck about Amina or Maddie being on drugs? That's fucking old news. None of what you said is true. Yeah, you are a fucking loser. In every way, shape, form. You marry losers. Your family's loser. You have a good sister. That's it. I don't know why you're acting like a douche. Like, you call someone a fucking you calling me an enabler of druggy. You know, you're negotiating like Trump. You fucking talk shit and go, "Hey man, we should work together to do this. It's all good, right? We're cool. Everything's cool. I just called you fucking scum and losers and all this shit, but we're cool, right?" You're literally doing the Trump. You're literally trying to talk to me like it's fucking Trump. It's just so stupid. Snuff I missed out there. Could should have got them. Like I said, I think the fucking collapse. And you can lie. What a dumb bitch. I'm about talking like about Trump? No. But I know you can't do that. You negotiate like your daddy Trump. Like, I see, you still can't read, huh? Fucking retard. Read at a fucking first grade level. So wild. So fucking wild. It's you about Jared, not Trump. It's like, what a dumb bitch. Are you fucking stupid? You are stupid. I said, don't talk shit about people you are trying to get help from. But I know you can't do that. You negotiate like your daddy Trump. It's like, what? How do you not understand this? How is this going? Like, how are you that stupid? Am I stupid or retarded? Both. You are both. You are retarded and stupid. You can't read. Do you know what an analogy is? Do you know what an analogy is? Do you know what an analogy? Do you know what I know? No, you don't. Because you can't read a sentence without not understanding it for fucking craziness. Like, I don't know what. This is some trick question. Do you know what an analogy is? Yeah. I don't even know what Scatterbro said, even. Who gives a fuck? Yeah. Hmm. That's funny. brains can't read and comprehend. You know, the analogy I used was she's walking down the street. A guy runs past her, steals her fucking purse, and runs away. She looks over the side of her, sees a guy sit next to her. She goes, "Hey, fatty, help me chase down the guy with the purse." Like, do you think the guy that you just called fucking fatty or whatever is gonna fucking leap to the fucking save your day? No, he's not, because you fucking call him a fucking fatty and degraded him. So now you wonder why you don't want to help me. Well, it's probably because you fucking called us all enablers at the bar and all this shit, and you wonder why I'm fucking don't want to help you and being fucking jackass to you. That is why it's not really hard. Don't be like, you're enabling him. You're enabling him. You think he wasn't doing drugs when you married him? You're fucking silly. He burned down your house. I guarantee you he wasn't sober. Like, just use your fucking brain. But of course, he wasn't doing it when I was around. Oh, I bet not. I bet not. Right? Maybe once you figure out that riddle. You have 48 hours to open the stream. And to show you I'm serious, I'm giving you 120 hours. That makes sense. All right. I'm just gonna be done. I'm done.